that would have won it for Chicago.
I just really wanted to see that look in everyone's eyes, that hunger, that we can't be stopped as an offense when we get together and put our minds to it. So there was times that we were letting the heat and the environment dictate our energy and how we react to certain situations, but then we pulled it together in the second half.
That's Mitch Trubisky, who threw for 3 touchdowns and a pick for the Bears, who dropped to 3-2. Blackhawks are still off until Thursday when they play the Coyotes at the UC. The Bulls open their regular season Thursday night against the Sixers. The news, a service of Mothers Against Drunk Driving for victims of drunk and drug driving. Their grief is unique, but you are not alone. MAD is here to help. Call their 24-hour victim helpline, 877-MAD-HELP, or mad.org, MADD.org. 5:07 on AM 560. Time for a dry basement in a healthy home. Time to call Permaseal, 800-421-SCAL. And a check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
He's electrified the 2016 Republican National Convention.
Blue Lives Matter in America.
He's been a strong voice in support of law enforcement, and he hasn't been afraid to call out groups like Black Lives Matter. And Sheriff David Clark is coming to Freedom Summit 2018 on October 27th in Itasca, presented by Geiger Wealth Management, Chicago's retirement planning experts. Get your tickets today before they sell out. Go to freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com.
Hi, it's Amy Jacobson, and I've been raving about MyPillow for years now, but I know a lot of our listeners still aren't sleeping on a MyPillow. Well, even if you sleep well on a different pillow, I recommend you try sleeping on a MyPillow. That's because you can actually move the fill to get the support you need, regardless of your sleep position. And like I've told you, I never wake up with a stiff neck or headache. They're made in America, washable and dryable, hypoallergenic, and a 10-year warranty, 60-day money-back guarantee. So go online or call now for the buy one, get one free deal on premium MyPillows. One for you and the other for a loved one or as a holiday gift. You'll still get 30% off everything else, including the MyPillow mattress toppers, pet beds that my dog Bunky loves, luxury Giza cotton sheets, and more if you use the promo code AMY. So visit MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201, promo code AMY.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America invites you to take steps for cures at a walk event near you. Support the 1.6 million Americans living with these diseases. Get started at cctakesteps.org.
5:10. Get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
On Chicago's south side, 71st Street is closed between Indiana and King Drive. Ongoing barricade situation. Heavy police presence in that area. Roads are wet. Allow safe time and following distance. Right now, things look pretty good on the Edens. Kennedy as well, with overnight roadwork wrapping up. On the inbound side, outbound it is heavy from Montrose to Central. Some roadwork near Harlem. It has cleared now. Still got about a 5-minute delay in that area. Eisenhower's okay. Outbound Stevenson and Kedzie. Truck crash. 2 right lanes blocked. Bishop Ford inbound. Delay started at 111th. 18 minutes. 8094 to the Rhine. I-57's okay. And the tollways are looking good. It's traffic. I'm Chip Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answers starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. A windy day ahead. Cooler clouds will give way to some sunshine and a high near 48. Clear and cold, 33 overnight, partly sunny. Breezy and cool, high 55. Tomorrow night, 38. Chilly on Wednesday, plenty of sunshine, a high of 48. Currently 40 at O'Hare, 43 along the lakefront, 42 Midway, and 39 in Aurora. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, a family tradition since 1897.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Dan. Amy still traveling back to rejoin us this week. Last night, Trump 60 Minutes interview. Yeah, he does one of these intermittently, once a year or so, maybe. I don't know why. Total bore. I don't know if you saw it, but Leslie Stahl, I thought it was utterly incompetent, her interview. She extracted exactly zero from Trump that he has not been saying unprompted at rallies or before he boards Marine One or before he boards Air Force One on the topic du jour. Absolutely nothing new. Complete vanilla questions and, just kind of standard issue, soft leading questions from the left. That's all it was. It's just a bore. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. The most interesting thing from 25 minutes of banal back and forth mainly was about a topic du jour, and that is the journalist Jamal Khashoggi, the Saudi Arabian journalist who apparently reputedly was murdered on the orders of the Crown Prince, and how that will strain, potentially, U.S.-Saudi relations, what that will mean in terms of sanctions for such a human rights violation as murdering a journalist who was critical of the Crown. So Trump addressed that straight away on what he knows to be true at this point and what he might do if the allegations against bin Salman are true.
As of this moment, they deny it, and they deny it vehemently. Could it be them? Yes.
Jared, your son-in-law, got on the phone and asked the prince, did he deny it?
They deny it. They deny it every way you can imagine. In the not too distant future, I think we'll know an answer.
What are your options? Let's say they did. What are your options? Would you consider imposing sanctions as a bipartisan group of senators have proposed?
Well, it depends on what the sanction is. I'll give you an example. They are ordering military equipment. Everybody in the world wanted that order. Russia wanted it. China wanted it. We wanted it. We got it.
So would you cut that off?
Well, I tell you what I don't want to do. Boeing, Lockheed, Raytheon, all these I don't want to hurt jobs. I don't want to lose an order like that. There are other ways of punishing, to use a word that's a pretty harsh word, but it's true.
Tell everybody what's at stake here. You know,
there's a lot at stake. Yeah. There's a lot at stake, and maybe especially so because this man was a reporter. There's something, you'll be surprised to hear me say that, there's something really terrible and disgusting about that if that were the case. So we're going to have to see. We're going to get to the bottom of it, and there will be severe punishment.
Severe punishment, though, in what form? I mean, I don't know what the severe punishment will be. This is an area where I think there's some honest disagreement, even among those who are inclined to be supportive of the administration. So the position was we're not going to do business with Iran under that Iran nuclear deal. So we, for example, didn't want Boeing to sell planes to Iran because Iran is the lead state sponsor of terror in the world. So you can argue there are differences and there are, between Iran and Saudi Arabia, the two countries that are competing for hegemony in the Middle East. But the principle was, because they are a bad actor, being a state sponsor of terror, that's not something we want to do business. That's not a regime, a government we want American companies to do business with. There are things that are more important than just straight economics. And so is that the case here? If the Crown ordered the murder of this journalist who was a permanent resident of Virginia, oh, by the way. I think that's a debatable point. And take your calls, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. And then you got the, in addition to that discussion point, which isn't really much of a discussion, it sort of ended there because you'd have to be intellectually curious to ask the follow-up about Saudi Arabia and Khashoggi and what severe punishment could mean, the range of tools the president is willing to employ if what is alleged turns out to be true. She just moved on to the other topics because, she has a list of questions. She's got to check them off. She's not actually listening to the answers. She's just trying to get through her questions, which is the sign of a terrible interviewer. So then you get the Miss America questions. What's your biggest surprise?
What have you learned since you've been president?
Okay, so I always used to say the toughest people are Manhattan real estate guys and blah, blah. Now I say they're babies.
Who's
they're
the
babies.
toughest?
The political people. This is the most deceptive, vicious world. It is vicious. It's full of lies, deceit, and deception. You make a deal with somebody, and it's like making a deal with that table.
Give me an example.
Well, I don't want to give you an example. I'm not looking at it. In the meantime, nobody's been able to do what I've been able to do.
So the swamp is much tougher than Manhattan real estate impresarios, but not too tough for Trump, because look what I've managed to do despite all of these dishonest, disreputable figures. I think that's an easy answer for Trump to give. I think that's certainly consistent with drain the swamp, so you could suggest it's a bit of a canned answer. I also think he's probably on the merits right. I mean, look at, again, the performance of Senate Judiciary Democrats during the Kavanaugh confirmation proceeding. You don't think that the political world has people of the lowest repute, people of the lowest moral, the lowest moral character, the thinnest moral fiber? I can tell you, as I've said often on this show, that the only people in my personal experience, in my professional travels, the only group of people I have found more lacking in character than the political class is, of course, the media, and Trump covered those two.
It's a very deceptive world. The other thing I've really learned is I never knew how dishonest the media was. I really mean it.
And Leslie Stahl really didn't like that, but he said it anyway, and that was fun. He also tackled the issue of where the White House is. One of the other favorite yarns of the D.C. press corps, the dishonest D.C. press corps, as he restated. The chaos in the White House. Now Nikki Haley has left now. The Bob Woodward book, right? The prospect that other cabinet officials could leave now that we're nearly 2 years in. So Trump addressed the things are run amok in the West Wing.
And yet we keep hearing that the White House is in chaos.
It's wrong. It's so false. It's fake news. I'm changing things around, and I'm entitled to. I have people now on standby that will be phenomenal. They'll come into the administration. They'll be phenomenal.
More people going to go?
Yeah, other people will go, sure.
Because so many people. You have a kind of a record of on turnover.
I think I have a great cabinet. There are some people that I'm not happy with.
Who are you not
happy with? No, I don't want
with?
to say that. But
Come on.
No, I don't want to say that. But I have some people that I'm not thrilled with, and I have other people that I'm beyond thrilled with.
What about General Mattis? Is he going to leave?
Well, I don't know. He hasn't told me that. I have a very good relationship with him. It could be that he is. I think he's sort of a Democrat, if you want to know the truth. But General Mattis is a good guy. We get along very well. He may leave. I mean, at some point, everybody leaves. Everybody. People leave. That's Washington.
I got to tell you, he's certainly right about that. I mean, the idea of people coming in and out of the administration 2 years in, cabinet-level officials and others, or including people that don't last very long because they just didn't work out. this is not unusual. This is not historic. It doesn't necessarily speak to chaos, number one. But number two, I love Trump's tells. Oh, by the way, he's sort of a Democrat, I guess. So that means Mattis is leaving. So that's not a good thing. Conservatives, paleocons that we have routinely on the show, like Jed Babin, who have worked with Mattis at the Pentagon, think very highly of him. So that's sort of the handle on him. So, when you have talented people leave for whatever reason, you don't like to see that. But so Mattis may be leaving. That's what he's sort of a Democrat, I think, means. But turnover in the upper reaches of any presidential administration, it does not call for the hysteria you get from the D.C. press corps. Dan in Libertyville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan. Thanks for taking my call. I think that we have to really look at the bigger picture when we're saying that we're going to compare Iran and the sanctions we have against them with Saudi Arabia. When you think of the thousands of American troops that were killed or maimed by the IEDs that came from Iran, you think of Hezbollah, you think of all the trouble they caused compared to the Saudi Arabians, okay? But if we're going to say because of Saudi Arabia killing one guy, okay, what about the thousands of others they kill because they're gay or they had sex outside of marriage or they said something bad about the crown prince? I mean, this one guy dying is like a grain of sand on the beach compared to what they do.
Well, okay, but by the way, how many 9/11 hijackers came from Saudi Arabia? And a lot of implication. There's a lot of evidence to suggest that the Saudis were at minimum willfully blind towards the incubation of radical Islamic terror of Al Qaeda in Saudi Arabia in the run-up to the 9/11 attack. So I guess my question is, you're sort of making my point for me. So why wouldn't we take a similar posture with respect to the Saudis that we've taken with Iran as it pertains to things like doing business with the government?
We have a base, a large military base right there.
Mm-hmm.
We could close that down and tell Saudi Arabia, you know what, defend yourself. But I don't know that would be good for us long term and losing that kind of military capability in that area.
Right, because we've got the issue of trying to we need a bulwark in the region against Iran, and Saudi's it. Yes, it's complicated. Thanks for the call, Dan. Bruno in Naperville.
Yeah, so the solution is it's just like with trade, where Trump really couldn't do China and NAFTA and Europe all at the same time. We have to do Iran. We need to support the rebels there, eventually, facilitate an overthrow of the government there, and then deal with Saudi Arabia. But the one thing to remember, you might get what you wish for. Our experience in the Middle East has been every time we overthrow or we allow the overthrow of a somewhat moderately theocratic regime, but more secular, we wind out with some real crazies there. So we have to be very careful if we allow the Saudi government to be overthrown. Iran's a different story. There can be nothing but a good outcome from that government going down.
Well, thanks for the call, Bruno. I mean, not doing a defense deal with the Saudi government is not the same thing as overthrowing the government or even fomenting the overthrow, which is highly unlikely. But I take your point about both your points about the complications.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I used to post to job boards.
Only to sort through tons of resumes.
Just to find a few candidates for
my sales team.
My hair salons.
That old process was not smart.
Then I went to ZipRecruiter.
Its technology scans resumes for me to find the right people.
And actively invites them to apply.
So I get qualified candidates fast. Smart.
See why ZipRecruiter is rated #1 by employers in the U.S. Try it now for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Based on Trustpilot rating of hiring sites with over 1,000 reviews.
Welcome to Jimmy John's.
Hi, your new 9-grain wheat sub is so good. How do you make it?
With the highest quality ingredients and love. I mean, we definitely don't sing at lullabies when it's baking. Lullabies are what parents sing to babies.
Right.
And we don't use a baby carrier to carry the warm, fresh 9-grain wheat subs to the cooling racks. I mean, they're not babies. They're for making delicious sandwiches.
Okay. I'll take a Turkey Tom.
Oh, don't name them. It makes it harder.
Try our new 9-grain wheat sub, Jimmy John's. Wheat yeah, freak yeah.
If you're like most people and you see 2 gas stations and one sells gas for a little bit less, you go to that one. It just makes sense. Every little bit helps. But here's what's weird, though. Sometimes we save a few pennies here and there and ignore opportunities to save huge money, life-changing money. If you switch to Medi-Share for your health care, it could be massive savings for you. The typical savings for a family is $500 a month. Think what you could do with that over time. Just doing the math, that's $6,000 a year. That is significant. And yes, people love it, and they love it because it works. It's believers who share each other's healthcare costs. More than 400,000 people are now members of Medi-Share, and it's growing like crazy. Find out how much you could save and why Medi-Share is so popular. Go to Medi-Share.com or call *228. That's *228. Message and data rates may apply. Call *228.
Fall is here, and so there's weekend cleanup projects. It's also the perfect opportunity to get organized with Store-Lock Modular Systems, the best tool cabinet you'll ever buy. Store-Lock makes it easy and simple. It's fully assembled when it ships so you can get organized fast. Durable Store-Lock Modular Systems are built the old-fashioned way, made to order, exactly how you want it. Order your custom system that's powder-coated in-house in any color you want. They're 100% crafted in the USA and feature dividers, liners, and layouts, all made with quality materials, including steel ball bearings and heat-treated steel rollers. Store-Lock is so strong that each drawer holds up to 400 pounds. Store-Lock fits any home or business and will last a lifetime with its 55-year top-to-bottom warranty. Order today and receive your system in about 4 weeks. Call 1-800-STORE-LOCK. That's 1-800-STORLOC. And check out storelock.com for upcoming events.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, Doctors Economos, Gavalis, Joshi, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidisciplined practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology, such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930. That's 630-830-4930. Or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning. So did you see Pastor Andrew Brunson return to the United States Saturday after 2 years of imprisonment and detention in Turkey? Trump saying, from Turkish officials in the White House in 24 hours, that's not bad. And Pastor Brunson very thankful for Trump using his leverage to free the imprisoned pastor. So another good example of Trump properly using leverage against an on-again, off-again ally of convenience in terms of Turkey, mostly off-again. Pastor Brunson prayed with the president. Did you see? This was sort of a remarkable moment, I thought, and it shouldn't go unremarked upon. Pastor Brunson getting down on his knees and praying with and for the president.
We would like to pray for you. We pray for you often.
Thank you.
As a family, my wife and I pray for you.
Thank you. Well, I need it probably more than anybody in this room. So that would be very nice. Thank you.
Could we pray for you?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay. Noreen, would
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So you can. I'll
Okay.
just do it from here.
How about that? Lord God, I ask that you pour out your Holy Spirit on President Trump, that you give him supernatural wisdom to accomplish all the plans you have for this country and for him. I ask that you give him wisdom on how to lead this country into righteousness. I ask that you give him perseverance and endurance and courage to stand for truth. I ask that you protect him from slander, from enemies, from those who would undermine. I ask that you make him a great blessing to this country. Fill him with your wisdom and strength and perseverance, and we bless him.
That's a great prayer. And coming up at 5:38, on the other side of the spiritual ledger, witches are planning a public hex to curse Brett Kavanaugh. But enough about the ladies at The View. We'll talk Me Too with after we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
38 degrees this early morning, 5:31 on AM 560. The Answer. President Trump says if it turns out Saudi Arabia is behind the disappearance of Washington Post columnist Jamal Khashoggi, there will be severe punishment.
Boeing, Lockheed, Raytheon, all these I don't want to hurt jobs. I don't want to lose an order like that. There are other ways of punishing.
In an interview with CBS's 60 Minutes, the president predicted there would soon be answers about Khashoggi's fate. Former CIA Director John Brennan says Saudi Arabia's denials of knowledge or involvement in that disappearance are unfounded.
He disappeared when there is video evidence of him being at the consulate, the Saudi consulate, a diplomatic mission under the full control of Saudi Arabia. So their denials ring hollow.
Brennan on NBC's Meet the Press. Oil prices are up sharply as the U.S. threatens to punish Saudi Arabia over the disappearance of that columnist. The international benchmark Brent crude is up 70 cents a barrel this morning. The two Koreas say they're ready to work on roads and rail lines to reconnect the countries. The agreement announced this morning at the border village of Panmunjom, following up last month's third meeting between South Korea and North Korea. It took rescuers 2 days to recover the battered bodies of 9 climbers, including one of the world's best who died in Nepal's worst mountaineering disaster in recent years, authorities said this morning. Climbers included Kim Chang-ho, the first South Korean to summit all 14 Himalayan peaks over 8,000 meters. The bodies of Kim and 4 other South Koreans who were killed arrive in South Korea on Wednesday. Many people are still missing in the aftermath of Hurricane Michael. In the town of Mexico Beach, search crews are trying to find almost 50 who are unaccounted for. This morning, crews continue on the scene of a crash on the outbound Stevenson Expressway on Chicago's southwest side. A SWAT team is on the scene of a standoff following what appears to be a domestic-related shooting on Chicago's south side near 70th and Prairie. Sears has officially filed for bankruptcy. A story we told you about last week has come to fruition as the Hoffman Estates-based company filed for protection early this morning. Union musicians with the Chicago Lyric Opera Orchestra headed back to work after being on strike since last week. Musicians ratifying a labor deal calling for the orchestra to be reduced by 4 musicians. Orchestra members will also receive a 5.6% increase in weekly salary over their 3-year contract. A Northwest Indiana college professor has received the top academic award available from the French government. Randa Duvik is a professor of foreign languages and literature at Valparaiso University. She was recently named an officer in the Order of French Academic Palms. Aside from her teaching work, Duvik has played a key role in helping establish at Valparaiso an exchange relationship with 3 French universities. Dolphins rally to beat the Bears in overtime, 31-28. Red Sox rally for a 7-5 win over the Astros in the ALCS at Fenway Park. The Blackhawks and Bulls are off until Thursday. 5:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher warns it's not time to rest on our laurels.
Judge Kavanaugh, and in particular President Trump, won the battle with Judge Kavanaugh's confirmation. The last thing you can do now is breathe a sigh of relief and say, good, we got this major battle won. We don't need to go to the polls in a few weeks. We can stay home.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
I used to post to job boards.
Only to sort through tons of resumes.
Just to find a few candidates for
my sales team.
My hair salons.
That old process was not smart.
Then I went to ZipRecruiter.
Its technology scans resumes for me to find the right people
and actively invites them to apply.
So I get qualified candidates fast. smart.
See why ZipRecruiter is rated #1 by employers in the U.S. Try it now for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Based on Trustpilot rating of hiring sites with over 1,000 reviews.
Welcome to Jimmy John's.
Hi, your new 9-grain wheat sub is so good. How do you make it?
With the highest quality ingredients and love. I mean, we definitely don't sing at lullabies when it's baking. Lullabies are what parents sing to babies.
Right.
And we don't use a baby carrier to carry the warm, fresh 9-grain wheat subs to the cooling racks. I mean, they're not babies. They're for making delicious sandwiches.
Okay, I'll take a turkey tom.
Oh, don't name them. It makes it harder.
Try our new 9-grain wheat sub, Jimmy John's. Wheat yeah, freak yeah.
Sometimes when it rains, it pours right into your basement. This is Gus from Chicagoland Waterproofing. My mission is to identify why your home is taking on water and fix it. I want you to sleep at night during a rainstorm and not worry about your basement filling up with water. Like our client Kim from Mount Prospect.
We had chronic basement flooding and no one could figure out why. During a huge storm, water was pouring in through the window wells of our finished basement and we had to bail out 6 inches of water. We got a bunch of estimates, but Gus's was the most reasonable, plus he knew exactly what the problem was. He put in a full basement drain tile system and an additional sub pump with a backup battery. Chicagoland Waterproofing gave us peace of mind. I like to say, in Gus we trust.
From simple sump pumps to complex storm drainage and crack foundation solutions, Chicagoland Waterproofing's work comes with a lifetime warranty. Plus, a fully licensed plumber is always on staff. Request your estimate today at ChicagolandWaterproofingPros.com or call 847-296-3500.
Check out the newest podcast from the Associated Press, Ground Game, hosted by AP's Meghan Crane, a weekly conversation about top political issues ahead of the upcoming midterm elections. Available on Apple Podcasts.
5:38. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
South Loop Roosevelt is closed between State and Wabash. Police activity there. This is right at the CTA Red Line station. Farther south, 71st remains blocked off between Indiana and King Drive. Police deal with a barricade situation. Traffic's heavy at O'Hare on westbound 190. Kennedy Tri-State outbound Kennedy. Traffic's a little congested in that area. Overnight work at Harlem is gone. Inbound Kennedy's okay. Eden's fine. Inbound Eisenhower, a little bit congested approaching Des Plaines Avenue. Down Stevenson tight. Cicero to Kedzie, 38 minutes, 3:55 to the drive. Outbound 38. Crash at Kedzie blocking 2 right lanes. Bishop Ford, 22 minutes, 80-94 to the merge. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, windy, cooler. Clouds will give way to some sunshine later today and a high of 48. Clear and cold. The frost advisory is up with a low near 33. 38 right now. Next news coming up at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour Radio Show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pearshell Financial Group.
See Heather McDonald, James O'Keefe, and Sheriff David Clark at Freedom Summit 2018. Get your tickets at freedomsummitchicago.com.
Good morning, Dan and Amy is making her way back from parts unknown to rejoin us this week. So, were you as moved as I was over the weekend after Kanye West's visit to the White House, along with Jim Brown? The rather wide-ranging and dynamic conversation, well, not really conversation, monologue Kanye provided President Trump, Jim Brown, the press gaggle. A lot of concern because, you know, we talked about this at length on Friday. We played the full range of his clips. A lot of concern about Kanye's mental health given his use of profanity, his ideas about replacing Air Force One, his desire to see Gangster Disciples leader Larry Hoover released from prison. Oh, and also, you know, his criticism of liberals and his support of President Trump and his embracing the president, saying, I love this guy. A lot of concern about his mental health. And I, for one, was moved by what Chris Cuomo had to say. S.E. Cupp, one of these sort of, S.E. Cupp, of course she's got a show on CNN. She's like the Ashley Banfield of conservatism. She's mainly known for her stylish glasses because what she has to say on the substance is anodyne when it's not nonsensical. Let's start with her, shall we? Because this is a center-righter that I'm sure the left would love to grab onto to use as an example that there is consensus on this. The concern about Kanye West's mental health was the argument after his visit to the White House, and that Trump is mainly responsible for knowingly using him to put on this show as part of some half-baked appeal to black families in this country, black voters in this country. That's the argument that was ubiquitous on the cable networks, minus Fox, over the weekend, and specifically CNN. Here's S.E. Cupp and her stylish glasses with Dana Bash.
All jokes aside, I thought that was really sad. I think you had there a man who's clearly not okay and a president who's willing to exploit that. And worse, to exploit that under the auspices of race relations and black communities, joblessness, mental health, all the things that ended up in this bucket of issues that were sort of addressed in this free-for-all. I don't know that any of them were very well served by this circus.
Is that right? Trump exploited Kanye West. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. If you weren't brought to tears by what S.E. Cupp had to say, then just wait until you hear Chris Cuomo's impassioned final argument. Very Springer-esque, as is the quality of his intellect.
How is it okay to put Kanye on display like this? He's no elected or appointed or recognized leader of any community on this planet. Is he popular? Yes, for his music, not his politics.
Isn't that a fascinating observation by Cuomo? Now we're offended, meaning the left. We're offended when a celebrity uses their position as just a celebrity, somebody who just dribbles a basketball. Remember the flap between Laura Ingraham and LeBron and Kevin Durant? We're offended now when a star athlete or a star musician or a star in any other realm other than public policy uses their celebrity to insinuate themselves into politics and the public debate. That offends Chris Cuomo now. Fascinating. Because the left loathes when celebrities get involved in politics, right? When they opine from the award stage, when they're headlining fundraisers and email appeals for MoveOn.org. The left hates celebrities. They're offended Kanye West would be allowed to weigh in on public policy just because he's a big-time musician. Just fascinating. Oh, and then Cuomo continued. This is the echo chamber at CNN. You heard this all weekend from virtually all of their hosts.
My wonder went to what was going on in Trump's head. Let's take a look at him. Here's my educated guess, okay? Other than a warm serotonin flush of happy hormone, imaginary headlines, blacks love Trump. He's blacker than Obama. Then came this.
It was something about when I put this hat on, it made me feel like Superman. You made a Superman. That's my favorite superhero. And you made a Superman cape for me.
I certainly agree. This is a cartoonish situation. But look at Trump here yet again. Yeah, Superman, sure I am. I can do anything. I can save people. I wonder if images of Hurricane Michael came into his head then. The people that do need saving. And here he is, doing this.
And what about that, too? The insensitivity of Trump, not only to exploit Kanye, but to divert his attention away from hurricane relief for the victims of the Michael hurricane. to be part of to be part of this show. What kind of show was it? Oh, Don Lemon has that.
What I saw was a minstrel show today. Him in front of all of these white people, mostly white people, embarrassing himself and embarrassing Americans, but mostly African Americans, because every one of them is sitting either at home or with their phones watching this, cringing. I couldn't even watch it. I had to turn the television off because it was so hard to watch. Him sitting there being used by the President of the United States. The President of the United States exploiting him, and I don't mean this in a disparaging way, exploiting someone who needs help, who needs to back away from the cameras, who needs to get off stage, who needs to deal with his issues. And if anyone around him cares about him, the family that he mentioned today, or whomever, his managers, maybe some other people who are in the music business who know him, they need to grab him and snatch him up and get Kanye together, because Kanye needs help. Kanye's mother is rolling over in her grave.
Wow. Wow. Minstrel show. Don Lemon, of course, earlier in the week. Kanye West is an example of what happens with a Negro who doesn't read books. Really? That comment drew the attention of Herschel Walker, football great. Now, I don't know. I haven't checked with Chris Cuomo. I don't know if Herschel Walker, just because he's a Hall of Fame football player, I don't know if he's allowed to weigh in on politics. I believe only like Colin Kaepernick can weigh in on politics. Herschel Walker can't. Because, you know, Chris Cuomo, he's an athlete. He's just what does he know about public? Herschel Walker, responding to that panel where Don Lemon said that about Kanye West, and then the other panelists dutifully laughed along with Don Lemon, is just brilliant. I hope Kanye West is able to get a hold of Don Lemon's reading list. I'd certainly like to see it. Herschel Walker tweeted that anyone that is African American he tweeted, went to bed appalled over Don Lemon's despicable behavior, laughing at the other two panelists, awful remarks about Kanye West's visit with Trump, woke up wondering why CNN doesn't take all three off the air. Hashtag shameful, hashtag CNN. That's Herschel Walker. Again, I don't know if he is allowed to comment, so we might have to dismiss his comments. We'll have to check with Chris Cuomo about that. Another individual weighed in, Van Jones, Obama's suck toy, from the Obama years, wanted to be an EPA administrator, didn't quite work out. He's got a show on CNN, apparently. Who knew? And on his show over the weekend, he had Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle was one of his guests. Dave Chappelle had very public questions about his mental health when he walked away from the Chappelle show and went to Africa and found himself, turned down $50 million, whatever it was. But Chappelle is obviously a popular comedian. Now, again, I don't know if he's allowed to weigh in on politics because he's just a comedian and an actor. And by the way, he was pretty good in Star is Born. Dave Chappelle, on the whole issue of Kanye, his perspective interesting because he's not a fan of Trump. And he thought some of what Kanye had to say was a little wild, but.
First of all, Kanye is an artist, man.
Yes.
And he's a genius.
Absolutely.
Whatever he's saying right now, I think that the angle he's seeing things from is about the division that he sees. And he's not inconsistent with what he's saying. For instance, a decade ago, I read a quote where he said he wanted to take the Confederate flag and reappropriate it some other different kind of way. And this MAGA hat, whatever, man. The thing that's scary about this presidency is after it. I don't know if you've been married before or had a girlfriend and said something in a fight that was so wrong, and then after that, we still family, we still around each other, but man, I sure did say all that, didn't I? And I'm not mad at Kanye. That's my brother. I love him. I support him. But, I don't have to agree with everything that he says. I just trust him as a person of intent. But, he shouldn't say all that.
What a novel concept. I don't agree with everything he said, but I trust him on his intentions. Okay, fine. We talked about this on Friday. Look, I thought the Kanye soliloquy was a little bit bizarre myself. Obviously, I don't agree that we should release Larry Hoover from prison, and I don't, and some of the other stuff I can barely comprehend what he was talking about. But there were things he said that were quite lucid, and that's why I asked the question, do you think it was productive? Does this get people's attention? Does this further any conversations on any of the myriad topics he addressed, or was it just a lurid sideshow? I don't know. I think different people are going to receive it differently. But the hand-wringing from Chris Cuomo, from S.C. Cupp, the incendiary language plus hand-wringing from Don Lemon, who apparently fashions himself some sort of intellect, is absurd. It's absurd. Chris in Aurora, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
See, I think what this we're witnessing is the speed of Trump. And what that is that he's so good at having them stumble over the top of themselves. He indirectly or sometimes directly exposes exactly how the left is foolish. And I think this goes back, way, way in the beginning. If you remember when they were debating over if they were going to let the 800,000 people that were here illegally stay or not, and then he basically made a deal that says this, okay, if you want to do this, you want to get immigration done right, then we'll build this wall, and then you guys are going to, put the funding in there, and then everybody can stay. Well, then all of a sudden, at that moment, they're like, well, no, we can't have that. So he exposed them for what their lies were, and this is continuing on, this trend now where he's basically playing chess, and they're playing checkers, where just last week, not 2 weeks ago, Melissa Milano, we were all listening to her and how she said there's no way Brett Kavanaugh could be, a Supreme Court justice. And then all of a sudden now here we are, well, we can't listen to celebrities and athletes, that he's able to make them trip up on themselves. And he's so fast at doing it where the contrast can't be any more crystal clear because you're able to see it like it's literally with week to week.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Chris. I think that he has this attraction to celebrity and also to celebrities that are saying nice things about him. And then the residual effect is exactly what you're saying, Chris, which is then the left goes over the top, takes it too far, is completely uninhibited by their own hypocrisy, is completely blind to the glass houses they're living in. And so you get absurd commentaries like the excerpts I played from Chris Cuomo. Ken in Lombard.
Morning.
Well,
yeah, Ken, go ahead. Ken, going once, going twice. Sorry, Ken, I don't know what happened there. Philip in Blue Island.
Well, Trump uses black people to his benefit. He's, Dr. Whatever the doctor name, the heart surgeon that he uses, the only person.
Ben
Amorosa. Even the Central Park Five, it's kind of ironic. So now he's talking about that men or boys need to be kind of afraid. But when it was the Central Park Five, he took out a full-paid ad saying that they, even after they were exonerated and found that they were falsely accused in jail, Trump still says throw them in jail and keep them in jail. And, so when you come to Kanye West a couple of years ago, it was Taylor Swift, the whole incident.
Yeah, right. He's a jackass, right.
What's his name? Bush hates black people,
right,
and so forth and so on. So all these different incidents points to some type of mental illness, especially when he says that he didn't have any male energy growing up, and now with the Kardashians, there's definitely no male energy. They're kind of flipping over to female energy, and so
what about
now
Bruce
he
Jenner?
loves Trump. Right, so he loves Trump so much that all of a sudden we're supposed to, as far as black people, we're supposed to respect his views.
Hey, Philip, what'd you think of? Yeah, I got it. What'd you think of? What'd you think of Don Lemon's comments?
Well, I think that Don Lemon is speaking for himself.
Yes,
and
I know
that somebody needs to get to Kanye, who really cares about him, and say, look. When you look at the post-traumatic stress, I think this man has been through a lot of stress. And I don't think that he's had the mental health evaluations or treatment that he needs to be speaking, especially going into the White House and using language that's disrespectful not only to the White House, but it just puts black people in a disrespectful light. That you don't have enough common sense to walk into the White House and speak with intelligence and at least go in there with the proper information or read the proper information to say something that's sensible to the President of the United States instead of just rambling and rambling and rambling. Stick to a couple of primary issues, and then maybe he would be taken seriously. But I don't think, at this point mentally, I don't think he's ready to be on that stage.
All right, thanks, Philip.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. The dismal TV drones are missing something important in handicapping the midterms. They obsess about how narrow are the GOP congressional majorities without considering the supermajorities Republicans enjoy in state houses and governor's mansions across the country. That's called political infrastructure, and it matters. Local political officials and operatives have credibility with voters and thus turnout capacity that can't be bought with Michael Bloomberg's millions. Federal races are not national elections, they're local ones. Just as local races can be federalized, so can federal races be localized. Popular Republican governors with Republican legislative majorities matter too. That's good news for key Senate and House races in Arizona, Florida, Indiana, Nevada, North Dakota, Tennessee, and Texas. The state and local Republicans in these states are popular because they've made choices in advance of economic liberty that have improved the vitality of life for their constituents. As a report earlier this year by the American Legislative Exchange Council found, it's not complicated. I suspect voters in these states may elect to continue to keep it simple on November 6th by sticking with what's working.
Wow, we've been doing a lot of roofs.
And we're ready to do yours. This is Mark Olson.
And Greg Olson from Crumweedy. Okay, say it. If your roof is needy,
call Crumweedy.
Remember that when you need repair or when you need a new roof.
It's so important to choose your roofing company wisely.
Here's our pitch.
Installation. It's the ball game.
We follow the manufacturer's specifications, so your warranty is totally intact. Most roofing companies don't do that.
When we give you a quote, we give you good, better, and best options. You decide.
And we're not going anywhere.
We're a third-generation family business. 65 years of doing great roofs.
We run the company on good, conservative values.
For any roofing problem or need, call your roofing guys, Crumweedy.
Do we have any special offers? Sure. Just ask. We'll take care of you.
Get all the info at myroofisneedy.com.
When your roof is needy,
call Crumweedy.
630-595-8020. 630-595-8020.
Before you hit the snow, you gotta hit the show. It's the Windy City Ski and Snowboard Show, the Midwest's premier show, going on this weekend, October 19th through the 21st at the Schaumburg Convention Center. Save up to 70% off retail on over $1 million of clothing, gear, and accessories in a super sale area. Kids skis and bindings starting at $59. See the latest products from Salomon, Never Summers, Resignol, Libtech, Technica, Dynastar, Nordica, and more. Ski resorts reps from Telluride, Icon Pass, Alpine Valley, Wilmot Mountain, Crystal Mountain, Grand Geneva, Ski Brule, Cascade, and more. Kids under 12 are free, plus free parking. Buy tickets online at WindyCitySkiAndSnowboardShow.com. Paid admission includes a free lift ticket at Ski Brule and 2-for-1 lift tickets at Alpine Valley and Crystal Mountain. Restrictions apply. See website for details. It's all happening this weekend, October 19th through the 21st. The Windy City Ski and Snowboard Show at the Schaumburg Convention Center. See you there.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
President Trump versus 60 Minutes. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
I never knew how dishonest the media was. I really mean it. I'm not saying that as a soundbite.
Well, and CBS's Leslie Stahl got into it on several issues, including immigration.
But even the way you asked me a question, like about separation. Yeah. When I say Obama did it, you don't want to talk about it.
No.
When I say I did it, let's make a big deal.
I'm going to run your answer.
She also asked the president if he still thinks climate change is a hoax. He said no, but he's not sure it's man-made and doesn't want to lose millions of jobs. And she asked if he'd pledge not to fire special counsel Robert Mueller. And the president said he wouldn't pledge anything, but he didn't call Russia for help with the election. It's ridiculous. Democrats have claimed he's trying to undermine the Russia probe. Now, the president also talked about Saudi Arabia and the missing journalist believed murdered in Turkey. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, the president says there will be severe punishment if it's proven Saudi Arabia had journalist Jamal Khashoggi murdered, telling 60 Minutes.
They denied every way you can imagine. There's something really terrible and disgusting about that if that were the case. So we're going to have to see.
President Trump said there are ways to punish the kingdom without risking a big arms deal that could impact U.S. contractors like Lockheed and Boeing. Saudi Arabia has threatened to retaliate if the U.S. imposes sanctions, suggesting oil could skyrocket to $200 a barrel or higher. Dave.
Rachel, the president will go to Florida and Georgia today to get a look at Hurricane Michael's devastation. At least 19 people are dead. Hundreds remain unaccounted for, many in hard-hit Mexico Beach.
Part of the problem, according to search and rescue teams and authorities, is that the communications are so badly damaged and down. Some places you have no cell service whatsoever, but they are still going door to door doing second and third inspections.
Fox's Phil Keating in Panama City. Sears is trying to save itself in court. The one-time retail giant filing for bankruptcy protection. And months after actress Meghan Markle married Prince Harry, she's pregnant. The royal couple expecting a baby next spring. This is Fox News.
This morning we have some rain, 39 degrees, 6:02 is our time on AM 560. The Answer, good morning. I'm Mike Scott. SWAT teams are on the scene of a standoff following what appears to be a domestic-related shooting on Chicago's South Side. Police tell us this morning a woman was found with a gunshot wound to her face early this morning inside of a stairwell of a two-story apartment building near 70th and Prairie. Now, that woman is hospitalized in stable condition. Investigators say the suspected shooter has barricaded himself inside a second-floor apartment. As expected, in a story that we've been following for over a week, Sears has filed for bankruptcy. Hoffman Estates Company filed for Chapter 11 protection early this morning in a last-ditch effort to survive. Sears, once the largest retailer in the nation, before the rise of Walmart, Amazon, and Target and a surge of smaller, more nimble regional retailers. An investigation continues after a 15-year-old boy was shot and killed on the west side. Authorities say Anton Shaw was found dead Saturday night outside of an alley on North Long Avenue. While attending a vigil last night, Shaw's brother said the teen had dreams of leaving the neighborhood.
He told me one day he was going to make it and take us out the hood. But, yeah, I see that was taken away from my little brother.
Teen had been shot in the face. No arrests have been made. Chicago sports, Jason Sanders boots a 47-yard field goal as time expires in OT. Dolphins rally to beat the Bears 31-28 in Miami. Mitch Trubisky threw for 3 touchdowns, but had an end zone pick, and there was also a fumble in the red zone by Jordan Howard for the Bears, who dropped to 3-2. Red Sox rally for a 7-5 win over the Astros to even the ALCS at Fenway. The news service of Mothers Against Drunk Driving. For victims of drunk and drug driving, their grief is unique, but you are not alone. MAD is here to help. Call their 24-hour victim helpline, 877-MAD-HELP, or MADD.org. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
My number 2 does not look like a number 2. I don't know what to call it. Is there a number 3?
Table for 4, please. Anything close to the restroom.
A middle seat with these stomach problems? That's my fear of flying.
Sound like you? If it does, you could be one of the many people with a digestive condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. Even if you don't know what EPI is, you might know the symptoms: frequent diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain. If you have even just one of these symptoms, you could still have EPI, because not everybody experiences EPI the same way, which is why it's so important to open up to your doctor about all your symptoms. And the good news is, EPI is manageable, so don't keep a lid on it. Go to identifyepi.com, complete the symptom checker, and use it to have a conversation with your doctor. Don't keep a lid on it. Visit identifyepi.com. Brought to you by AbbVie.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Do you believe Springfield works for us? Sean Thompson from Elmwood Park doesn't.
Nobody represents me, and nobody represents you. They represent themselves.
And Susan Michaud from Wheaton's home values are suffering for it.
Our property values are going down because our taxes keep going up.
Your property taxes go up, your home value goes down. The government takes your home. Rich, poor, Republican, Democrat, we're all the same when it comes to property taxes. Gino Fiore-Avanti of River Forest is leaving Illinois because of high taxes.
We're not going to be living in Illinois
Illinois anymore, and it's due to the property taxes.
Sean Thompson blames both sides.
It's bipartisan failure.
You either force politicians who oppose property tax caps out of office, or they force you out of Illinois. A group of independent property tax reform candidates are running to save your home and our state now. Go to SaveYourHomeNow.org to take up their fight just as they have taken up yours. You stay. The politicians go, because they're the ones who suck. SaveYourHomeNow.org.
Liberty Principles paid for this ad and is solely responsible for its content, not authorized by any candidate or candidate committee.
To experience relief from muscle cramps in your legs and feet, use TheraWorks Relief. This non-greasy foam is proven to relieve muscle cramps fast and reduce muscle soreness. TheraWorks Relief can also prevent muscle cramps before they start, so you can get a full night's sleep without having to worry about muscle cramps. TheraWorks Relief only takes minutes to apply, absorbs quickly, and it works. TheraWorks Relief is a life-changing product, and you don't even need a prescription. Get TheraWorks Relief today in the pain relief aisle at Walmart, CVS, Rite Aid, and Walgreens pharmacies, or TheraWorksRelief.com.
You started a DIY project at home. Then you realize convenience isn't always easy. The why in DIY doesn't mean, why is this so hard? At ADT, we DIFY, do it for you. We customize and install a secure smart home that you control from the palm of your hand or the sound of your voice. Smart security, designed and installed just for you with ADT. Visit ADT.com/smart to learn more. License information available at ADT.com. ADT, real protection.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique, but you are not alone. MAD is here to help. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org. That's MADD.org.
It is 6:07. The news is a service of UPSJobs.com. What is future you doing right now? Well, you could be working for UPS as a part-time package handler. Now hiring in Hodgkins, plus receive tuition assistance from UPS and their Earn and Learn program. Apply now at UPSJobs.com. In the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here's Jim Talamonte.
South Loop Roosevelt is blocked in State and Wabash. Fire at the Walgreens, right near the CTA station there. The Edens Expressway looks good right now. The eastbound spur is a little heavy. Toll Plaza to Waukegan Road. Got Kennedy, 22 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 29. Eisenhower's 40 minutes, 390 to the Vern Circle, outbound 30. Stevenson, heavy inbound. Harlem to Kedzie, 58 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. There's an outbound crash at Kedzie. Two right lanes are blocked, looking at a 10-minute delay from Western to Kedzie. Ryan, 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. Outbound 20, crash at 47th, blocking everything. Bishop 4, 22 minutes, 80-94 to the merge. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Windy today with wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour. Clouds will give way to some sun. We'll have a high of 48. Then it will be a clear and cold night tonight with areas of frost. A low tonight 33. Partly sunny tomorrow, high 55. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
38 at O'Hare, 42 at Midway, and 39 in Aurora. Your next news update, 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan, and Amy is back this week. She's still traveling back from her sojourn. So it's just me today. New York Times rating over the weekend. As suburban women turn to Democrats, many suburban men stand with Trump, and they focus in on Dublin, Ohio, as a microcosm of their overarching premise. Suburban women are turning to Trump, but many suburban men still standing. Suburban women are, turning to Democrats, but many suburban men standing with Trump. Here's what the New York Times argues by way of storytelling. One reason for their continued support now, college-educated men. White college-educated men, got to get all the descriptors in there, have benefited unequally in the Trump economy. While the president's favorite barometer of success, the stock market is up 26% since he took office. Individual stock ownership is concentrated among people in the upper income brackets who are far more likely to be white. The Republican tax cut also delivered higher benefits to whites than to blacks or Latinos, according to a recent study. Yeah. There's a, Dublin, Ohio, of course, was where Troy Balderson squeaked out that 1-point victory in the special election in August. So a lot of focus on white college-educated men were the problem. Of course, the feminists are also focusing on white women problem, too, white women who aren't on board. But could there be something else at play? Not only for making suburban men, white college-educated men, choose Trump, stick with his program, but also maybe increasingly in the closing days, where there was and there is, according to the polling data, a challenge Republicans have with suburban women, college-educated suburban women. The richer and the more highly educated you go, the more the problem presents itself. But maybe that's changing, and maybe it has nothing to do with the stock market. Let me suggest that it has everything to do with think pieces, quote-unquote, like this in the Amazon Post. What you're about to hear is both dismal and unsurprising, given the author, a retired history professor from Grinnell College. The title of the piece: "Thanks for not raping us, all you quote-unquote good men, but it's not enough." Victoria Bissell Brown. "I yelled at my husband last night, not pick up your socks yell. Triggered by a small, thoughtless, dismissive, annoyed, patronizing comment, really small, microwave that triggered a hurricane. I blew hard and fast, and it terrified me. I'm still terrified by what I felt and what I said. I'm almost 70 years old. I'm a grandmother. Yet in that roiling moment, screaming at my husband as if he represented every clueless male on the planet, I announced that I hate all men and I wish all men were dead. If one of my grandchildren yelled something that ridiculous, I'd have to stifle a laugh." Some self-awareness, but it quickly fades as this Philippic goes on. "I said the meanest thing I've ever said to him. Don't you dare sit there and sympathetically promise to change." And she recounts how her husband is, I assume, just, basically for path of least resistance, has been, echoing her feminist philosophy for their 50 years of marriage. "Don't you dare sit there and sympathetically promise to change. Don't you say you will stop yourself before you blurt out some impatient, annoyed, or controlling remark. No, I said you can't change. You aren't able to change. You don't have the skills and you won't do it. You, I said, are one of the good men. You respect women. You believe in women. You like women. You don't hit women or rape women." Oh, yeah, boy, low bar. "You've applauded and funded feminism for half a century. You're one of the good men, and you cannot change. You can listen all you want, but that will not create one iota of change. In the centuries of feminist movements that have washed up and away, good men have not once organized their own mass movement to change themselves and their sons, or to attack the mean-spirited, teasing, punching thing that passes for male culture." And this passes for an op-ed. This writing is awful. "Not once. Bastards. Bastards," she writes. "Don't listen to me. Listen to each other. Talk to each other. Earn your power for once. No man right now understands the flood that is rushing through women's brains, and only women in the deepest denial have evacuated their minds before the flood could reach them. Pay attention, people. If we do not raise boys to walk humbly and care deeply, if we do not demand that men do more than just listen, we will all drown in the flood, and there is no patriarchal Noah to save us." I mean, God, is this badly written. Grinnell history professor. Grinnell graduates, ask for your tuition back. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Take your calls to express sympathy or empathy for Ms. Brown's husband, the author of this piece, but also her demand, her clarion call that men organize our own mass movement to change ourselves and our son to attack male culture. Good idea? Camille Paglia doesn't think so. Camille Paglia is an actual academic, from sexual personae to her most recent offering, Provocations, which I encourage you to pick up both. She gave a talk at a university recently. Now remember, for those of you not familiar with Paglia, I talk about her intermittently when we talk about this whole sort of second wave feminism, as she calls it, and the impact on male-female relations and culture generally, family. So Paglia is a atheist. She is a Bernie Sanders supporter in the 2016 race, and she's a lesbian. But she has been a withering critic of second-wave feminism because they've got it all wrong. Remember the movement of science, the left? No. And I'm not talking about their junk science on climate. I'm talking about their junk science on gender. And so many on the center right have sort of folded in, you know, celebrating some dude winning a women's cycling championship over the weekend, or that dude being in the same bathroom as your prepubescent daughter, for example. You know, surrender Republicans. So it's sort of bipartisan in many ways. Camille Paglia, in this recent talk she gave at a university on male bashing and first wave versus second wave feminism. So this 70-year-old Grinnell professor would be center cut for second wave feminism, the icons of the leftist women, baby boomer women today, the Gloria Steinems, the Bella Abzugs, the Susan Faludis. This is who Camille Paglia is referencing.
There were so many women who were achieving and who attained a tremendous celebrity in the period of the 1920s, 1930s. That, to me, is my favorite period in feminism, okay? Because these women, okay, admired what men had done. Okay? There was no male bashing, as became systemic, okay, to second wave feminism. Okay, it's an absolute poison that has spread worldwide. Okay, a feminism based on denigrating men, trivializing, you know, what men have done, defining men as oppressors and tyrants through history. Okay, it is an absolute lie. I mean, there have been crimes against women. Where they have occurred, we must condemn them. All right, but men throughout history have given their lives, okay, and their labor for the support of women and children. Okay, so this is an element in second wave feminism that, to me, is an extrapolation of neuroticism on the part of these fanatics, okay, who have been attracted to this movement.
So put that in your back pocket or shove it into somebody's pea hat before they go to the next women's march. Love to engage and get reaction from Camille Paglia. You should have seen some of the students in the audience who clearly this was their first exposure to Paglia. Mouth agape doesn't quite cover how much of a wake-up call they were getting from Paglia. And other people are waking up too. You know, they're tired of it. And this is why I say, back to the opening of this commentary, the New York Times piece, suburban women going to Democrats, suburban men standing with Trump, and it's about the Dow Jones Industrial Average. It's about more than that. It's about culture. And there was that study that we reported last week, 2,000 extended interviews, people identifying on the ideological spectrum, 25% conservative, 8% progressive, and 2/3 the exhausted majority, as the study found. And one of the overriding takeaways, in addition to how small the cultural Marxist segment of the electorate is the rejection of the increasingly totalitarian PC culture. And here's a good example of that. A piece in Tablet written by a woman named Bridget Fatassi. She's a writer, comedian. She had previously worked for Playboy magazine. Now she works for another digital outlet. She writes this piece, "White feminism isn't the problem, but you might be if you think so. I'm done. After years of enduring woke, anti-white woman media pieces, written much of the time by upper-middle-class white women, of course. Yeah, good point. They have finally broken me. Modern feminism demands I live in a constant state of feeling like a victim, but if I'm white, I need to simultaneously accept that I'm never going to be victim enough, and in fact, I'm actually an oppressor. It's mind-bending and bananas, and I won't do it. Intersectional feminism is a trap that pits all women against one another in a race to the bottom. It doesn't empower. Instead, it encourages perpetual victim mentality, internalized self-loathing, and creates a battle between factions of women over who's the most oppressed." So Bridget Fatassi probably fits the description of these suburban women that are supposedly marching in lockstep to the Democrats, except maybe they're not. She concludes her piece, expecting all women to act as a monolith, constantly sending the message of adopt our ideology or else. That isn't feminism, it's tyranny. And we'll just see on November 6th and beyond if the worm really doesn't start to turn on these commissars for PC culture. Because I think there's a lot of people across a pretty wide swath of the ideological spectrum that are in the same position of Bridget Fatassi. I'm done. I'm sick of enduring it, or tolerating it, or being silent in the face of it. Greg and Schomburg, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan, how you doing?
Good.
If you took everything that you've just said and put, kind of a box around it, what you've just talked about is the current view of the demonization of men. But the question becomes, why is it happening in the first place? And God told us exactly what was going to happen if we started messing with sexual identity in the Bible. In other words, if we deviated from the male-female concept, if particularly homosexuality came to be an accepted norm in society, then it's very clear in the Bible exactly what would happen, is that then women would be against men, men would be against women, the whole mess. And so that's one point. And then the second point is this. This is really infiltrating churches, I think, because their church managements, I feel, are afraid to tackle the women and debate them on exactly what you are doing right now, is pointing out the demonization and the flaws in their thinking. They're just rolling over and playing dead.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Yeah, well, thanks for the call, Greg. I think that particularly in your second point, you highlight a problem that is culture-wide, it's society-wide, but it's particularly most embarrassing when it comes to the clergy, and I'm glad you pointed it out.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Success happens with an affordable full-time IT staff from Turnkey IT. Listen to another happy customer.
We're a doctor's office with a team of 2 doctors and 12 support staff in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, and we're one of the original all-in contracts with Turnkey IT. It's nice to never have to worry about our computer systems and concentrate on the practice. Turnkey started with replacing every piece of equipment, including all servers and PCs. Everything is warranted, and we don't even have to think about replacing hardware for the next 4 years. All this for one monthly payment that includes unlimited support, 24/7 monitoring, cloud backup, antivirus, and anti-ransomware. A truly turnkey support program. And it's all HIPAA compliant. Thanks for the peace of mind, Turnkey IT.
Your business can have great success too, with a full-time IT staff starting at $7.95 a month from Turnkey IT.
Leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on the important things. Visit turnkey.pro today. Turnkey.pro.
Hi, it's Amy Jacobson, and I've been raving about MyPillow for years now, but I know a lot of our listeners still aren't sleeping on a MyPillow. Well, even if you sleep well on a different pillow, I recommend you try sleeping on a MyPillow. That's because you can actually move the fill to get the support you need, regardless of your sleep position. And like I've told you, I never wake up with a stiff neck or headache. They're made in America, washable and dryable, hypoallergenic, and a 10-year warranty, 60-day money-back guarantee. So go online or call now for the buy one, get one free deal on premium MyPillows. One for you and the other for a loved one or as a holiday gift. You'll still get 30% off everything else, including the MyPillow mattress toppers, pet beds that my dog Bunky loves, luxury Giza cotton sheets, and more if you use the promo code AMY. So visit MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201, promo code AMY.
Being successful in business means overcoming enormous obstacles to serve your customers and community. AM 560, The Answer, wants to shine a spotlight on businesses that are thriving. We want to celebrate their success by finding out what makes these businesses unique, successful, and what we can learn from them. We want to know how you built it. Presented by Chicagoland Waterproofing. To tell us how you built it, go to 560theanswer.com/built. That's 560theanswer.com/BUILT. Sponsored by Signature Bank and Ozinga.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com. The following is a paid political announcement.
Makers and doers, have you heard of the Technology and Manufacturing Association? TMA represents nearly 1,000 manufacturers and over 30,000 manufacturing employees in the Chicagoland region. Headquartered in Schaumburg, TMA is a comprehensive resource for Midwest manufacturers looking to improve operations, strengthen their workforce, and grow their business. We strengthen our members by providing business support services, events, networking opportunities, and government advocacy. TMA is also a leader in training and education, helping our manufacturers develop the talent they need to grow and thrive. At our Schaumburg Training Center, our industry-leading instructors are providing hands-on training to prepare the next generation of makers. The TMA Education Foundation has donated over $1.5 million to area schools, providing young people with exposure to today's high-tech and high-paying manufacturing jobs. As a leading voice in an evolving industry, TMA cultivates and strengthens our members. Consider joining our member-driven association as we support each other. Learn more at tmaillinois.org.
What does building a better bank look like? It starts with building Capital One cafes, warm, inviting places that feel nothing like a typical bank, where you can open an account with no fees or minimums in 5 minutes. And you'll always find people ready to help you, not sell you. Welcome to Banking Reimagined. What's in your wallet?
For consumers only. Offered by Capital One and a member FDIC. Cafes available in select locations. Copyright 2018 Capital One.
AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. We're talking about some of these op-eds and recoiling against second-wave feminism, the intolerance of the left, and how that plays into November 6th election. May not just be suburban white men that decide to cast a lot with Trump. You have some women tired of being told what to do by aging feminists. Marie in Algonquin, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer. Hi, Marie.
Hello.
You're on.
Oh, yes, I'm here. You sound like you're in a tunnel, though, to me. But, yes, well, I think what women today have to recognize, first of all, how this movement got started, which I call the radical feminist movement, which really got off the ground back in the 1970s with very unhappy people like Ellie Schmiel, Gloria Steinem, Bella Abzug. I mean, hearing these women speak at that time, I was on the opposite side, of course, of what they were doing. I thought, boy, am I glad I'm not in their camp, because I do consider myself to have been a very happily married woman for 58 years, and I've never bought into this idea of victimization. I think certainly there are women who have been victims, maybe growing up in families where they were neglected or abused or whatever.
Right.
But they just these college-educated women, I think they should start listening to Dennis Prager's Men, Women.
That segment in his show. Yeah.
His show, because they, first of all, I think don't understand themselves, but they certainly don't understand men either. And I've
Thanks,
been fortunate,
Marie. I'm sorry.
To,
we got to go, Marie. Thanks for the call, though. Appreciate that perspective, and we'll continue this conversation from Me Too to #HimToo. How about that? At 6:36. Now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
Rain is beginning to end this morning, replaced by wind and cold this morning. 38 degrees at 6:31. We're following developments on Chicago's south side this morning, where a SWAT team is in place on the scene of a standoff following what appears to be a domestic-related shooting near 70th and Prairie. Now, that woman who was shot is in stable condition and hospitalized. She told investigators the suspected shooter had barricaded himself inside a second-floor apartment. Turkish authorities plan to search the Saudi consulate in Istanbul today, where journalist Jamal Khashoggi was last seen nearly 2 weeks ago. Khashoggi, a U.S. resident, a Saudi citizen, often critical of his native country, has not been seen since he walked into that consulate October 2nd. Meantime, President Trump predicts there will soon be answers about Khashoggi's disappearance.
Well, nobody knows yet, but we'll probably be able to find out. It's being investigated. It's being looked at very, very strongly. We would be very upset and angry if that were the case. As of this moment, they deny it, and they deny it vehemently.
The president on 60 Minutes, Senator Marco Rubio, afterwards saying he believes it's time to get tougher with Saudi Arabia.
I don't think we should continue as business as usual until we know exactly what's happened here.
Oil prices are up sharply as the U.S. threatens punishment over the disappearance of that columnist. There's a federal lawsuit against Harvard University that claims the school discriminates against Asian Americans, and it's heading to trial today. The group Students for Fair Admissions claims in the suit Harvard rates Asian Americans lower based on personality traits and believes they are unlikable. The group hopes the case will lead to a reversal of the 1978 Supreme Court ruling that says colleges can consider a student's race when deciding whether or not to admit them in order to uphold student body diversity. Sears has filed for bankruptcy. The Hoffman Estates-based retailing giant filed for Chapter 11 protection this morning. Chicago sports, Jason Sanders boots a 47-yard field goal as time expired in OT. Dolphins rallied to beat the Bears 31-28 in Miami. The news service of UPSjobs.com. What is future you doing right now? You could be working for UPS as a part-time package handler, now hiring in Hodgkins. Plus, receive tuition assistance from the UPS Earn and Learn program. Apply now at UPSjobs.com. 6:34 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I thought I had a sinus headache for a few days, but I had a massive brain aneurysm, hemorrhage of the brain, and a stroke, and I was on my deathbed. I was on a respirator in a coma for 35 days, and 3 months later, I came home in a wheelchair. I had double vision. I had to learn to walk again, to speak again. 1 and 1 is 2, write the alphabet. You know, if I went out and did a little something, I'd come home, I'd be in bed. Now, I'm up by like 5:30 in the morning, and I go to the gym. I do shopping. I cook. I have energy all day. I mean, I feel great. Overall, my whole outlook, just feeling, my mental aspect, everything is better.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751. 424-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
Homeowners, do you need cash right now? Call the Cash Out Refinance Hotline today at 1-800-400-8298. Need cash to pay off high-interest credit cards? No problem. Need cash to pay for college tuition? No problem. Need cash to pay for home improvements? No problem. Homeowners can call right now and get fast cash for any reason, even if your credit score is less than perfect. If you are current on your monthly mortgage payments and need cash right now, call the Cash Out Refinance Hotline and get the money you need. We have access to some of the lowest available interest rates. This special Cash Out Hotline may only be available for a limited time. Homeowners are urged to call now and find out for free how much cash you qualify for. Call 1-800-400-8298. 1-800-400-8298. That's 1-800-400-8298. Total Mortgage Services, LLC is an equal housing lender. NMLS number 2764. Not available in all states. Additional restrictions may apply. Offers subject to eligibility. Not all who call will qualify. Call for terms and conditions.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Ryan Siebert, CEO of SG Home Builders and a customer of Signature Bank. Over the last 10 years, my business pivoted multiple times to adjust to the fluctuations in the Chicago real estate market. Signature Bank's partnership with us and their ability to adapt to changes has allowed us to become a leading custom home builder. Signature Bank is a relationship-based business bank right here in Chicago, providing services and advice that address our unique situation, and they serve as a trusted consultant on what works best for my business. Signature Bank helped us build SG Home Builders while we were busy building dream homes for our clients.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
6:37. Let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Traffic is stopped from the Ryan to Kedzie. 2 right lanes are blocked. Clean up and investigate a crash. It's 54 minutes Lakeshore Drive to 355. Inbound a mess. First Avenue to Kedzie with Gapers. An hour and 12 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Eden's 33 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 21. Kennedy 37 minutes. O'Hare to downtown outbound 46. Eisenhower 52 minutes. 390 to downtown. 39 from Manheim. Outbound it's 40 minutes to 390. Ryan 30 minutes. 95th to downtown. I-57 27 minutes. ID to the merge. Bishop 422. Westbound Tri-State delays are from the Stevenson to 31st and from Roosevelt to Lawrence. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Windy day ahead. Cooler with clouds giving way to sunshine. High of 48, clear and chilly overnight. A frost advisory is up, a low of 33. Currently 38. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella, Sunday mornings starting at 8.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan, and no Amy today, but I think she'll be back tomorrow. But, what do I know? I only work here. Coming off our conversation about these op-eds in the Amazon Post that are just remarkable, disturbing and unsurprisingly penned by academics. I told this story before. Went to see Blazing Saddles, a screening of Blazing Saddles a couple years ago at the Chicago Theater. Mel Brooks was going around the country doing these screenings where you'd watch Blazing Saddles with the audience. And then he'd come out and do Q&A for an hour, and which was basically the interviewer saying, go. And Mel Brooks told stories for an hour. It was fantastic. And he just couldn't be more whip smart and sharp. And he must have been early 90s at the time. And he said the first question he gets asked everywhere, and it was the first question that was asked at the Chicago Theater as well. Do you think you can make Blazing Saddles today? A better question might be, do you think you would even have a career in Hollywood today? It's not just Blazing Saddles. And Brooks said straight away, no, I don't think I can make it today. I don't think it gets made today. Commenting on the PC culture. And remember, political correctness, synonym for false, synonym for lie. Don't be politically correct. What you're saying is don't lie. Don't say things that are untrue. Don't be a thug. That's what it is. It's one thing to say, Blazing Saddles couldn't be made today. And the Cleavon Little character, the sheriff, couldn't be in a film today. How about The Office? You want to get a sense of how quickly this is happening? And how many people are participants, enthusiastic participants in their own demise, in their own subjugation. It's remarkable. Steve Carell, in an interview in Esquire magazine, he asked if viewers would accept an Office remake if one were to come about. Apart from the fact I don't think it's a good idea, it might be impossible to do that show today and have people accept it the way it was accepted 10 years ago. 10 years ago. It's like 5 minutes ago. The climate's different, writes Carell says in this interview. I mean, the whole idea of that character, Michael Scott, so much of it was predicated on inappropriate behavior. I mean, he's certainly not a model boss. A lot of what is depicted on that show is completely wrong-minded. That's the point, But I just don't know how that would fly now. There's a very high awareness of offensive things today, which is good for sure. But at the same time, when you take characters that like that too literally, it doesn't really work. Yeah, Carell is being very careful to toe the Hollywood line, isn't he? And I love Steve Carell, and he's a great actor, including great dramatic actor, as he's proven. But think about that. Think about how intimidated a major star like Carell is from saying what he knows to be true, which is lighten up. Saying what he knows to be true, which is it's a sad commentary that I don't think The Office could be remade today. Remarkable, isn't it? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. How much of this pushback against the falsities, the lies, quote-unquote political correctness, how much is that motivating your participation in politics? How much is that informing your vote on November 6th, I wonder? Because, there are economic issues. I understand that that directly relate to quality of life, but so does your ability to express yourself and think freely and interact with people without having to toe lines like Steve Carell feels he needs to do. That's a sad commentary. What he says is a sad commentary. How he says it is a sad commentary. And this is what Camille Paglia, going back to her talk recently at a college, it's what she's talking about with what's happened in the classroom and is happening in the classroom. And so it becomes self-propagating. There's too much presentism, Paglia says. She explains.
I'm starting to self-censor as I speak to them. I'm starting to, it's not that I give trigger warnings or anything like that, but I do feel that they are easily upset, okay, and that their education has been without a realistic introduction to the barbarities of human history, right? I feel that ancient history must be taught, okay, and that there's too much presentism right now. Right? They see a comfortable world around them, the world of the shopping malls, a world of material prosperity, right? And they believe that by any problems in the environment can be remedied by just a little, using a screwdriver, slightly tighten a screw, all right? And soon utopia, will happen. They have no sense, okay, of the special privileges they enjoy in this very affluent, culture. So I believe in introducing young people to the disasters of history.
Yeah, learn the disasters. Have a little perspective on humanity. Polly goes on, this is super important. The purpose of education in the context of her criticism of presentism. Right? We're at the most advanced point in time in history because it's the current. History is always moving forward on a positive track. It's always getting better. Yeah. Not necessarily. A lot of examples that suggest regression. And the question is, if you don't deal at this level of K through 12 education into higher ed, then you get this culture that we're describing in these op-eds of thanks for not raping us, you quote-unquote good men, but it's not enough. Why bother to bear children in a world racked by climate change? Another mind-numbingly stupid op-ed in the Amazon Post over the weekend. And also this whole Believe Women Me Too saga that we're going through, where people who are wrongly accused are supposed to take one for the team. Hey, even if you're not guilty, take the hit because there's the bigger fight against white male Christian patriarchy or some such thing. It's literally happening. Piece in New York Times over the weekend. New York Times. What to do when you are anonymously accused of rape. Stephen Elliott, founder of the left-wing website The Rumpus, accused. He's one of the men listed a few months back, along with some 70 others on a Google spreadsheet. It was called S blank Media Men, and the accusations ranged from weird lunch dates to rape. Elliott was accused of rape. Left-winger. Last week, before the statute of limitations ran out, Elliott stopped lying low, sued the creator of the list for defamation, filing a lawsuit in the Eastern District of New York. And listen to the setup to this piece. If you're a progressive man who sees himself as a feminist ally, the politically acceptable strategy is to keep quiet and lay low. If you do anything at all, put out a statement saying you support the Me Too movement, that it's an overdue and necessary corrective, and you're taking some time for self-reflection. You have to take one for the team. Elliott saying, no one is going to come forward and say that I raped them. I don't believe even my enemies believe I raped somebody. What does he want? An apology would be good, he said. Legal fees would also be good, but maybe seeing it argued out in a court of law will help good people come to their senses and distance themselves from the rotten parts of this movement. But listen to this. How poisonous this is. I don't think people have any concept. 5 of the men on this media men list on Thursday, five on this media men list that Elliott's on, accused of rape, spoke to another outlet on the condition of anonymity to condemn Elliott's lawsuit. They expressed anger towards Elliott's lawsuit, defamation suit, saying he's wrongly accused of rape, knowingly and falsely accused of rape. These 5 men that criticized him for filing suit also said they're not guilty of what they're accused of on that list. But the sense is, New York Times reporting, Barry Weiss, sense is Mr. Elliott should do what they're doing, quote unquote, taking one for the team, as one of them put it. Taking one for the team. This is what Camille Paglia is talking about when she talks about the importance of education.
There is much too much focus on the present. In other words, when the word diversity becomes a banner for let's remedy this in the present. I don't think that's the purpose of education. Okay, I think education is about opening the great past, okay, and of global cultures generally. Okay, more knowledge, more hard knowledge. Right? So this migration, okay, this transformation of the classroom situation and of the university setting into a praxis to cure present problems. That is wrong. The university should be about abstract and detached study of the past, okay, and of the global present.
There's a Daily Signal piece documenting 35 men who were falsely accused of sexual assault. You got the New York Times piece, progressive dude accused, finally had enough. He's going to file a suit and try and clear his name, his reputation. I mean, again, I'm just starting from the premise that he's correct, but I mean, do you get a sense of how off the rails this is? And so how do you get it back on the rails? Holly and Hudson, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Well, good morning, Dan. I think I've made it pretty clear that I love white men, and I love all men, actually. You know, we raised our kids watching The Office because there was something wonderful about watching kids learn sarcasm and squirm and awkwardness and come out alive and joke about it later. And it would and that's what people want to eliminate, any form of uncomfortableness, so that women feel they're uncomfortable around men. Men make them feel less than. So let's get rid of men. Well, I've got news for any women who think that. Women are vicious and evil as a group. They will turn on each other way faster than men turn on women. So if they get what they hope for, I feel sorry for them. Me and my family, we're going to live in a world of joyful happiness, cohabitating together, working it out, because guess what? White men aren't going anywhere.
Thanks for the call. Hi. And the other thing about The Office and Steve Carell's character, Michael Scott character, the joke was on him, right? People aren't watching The Office and saying, oh, I want to emulate Michael Scott. That's what a good boss looks like, right? No, it's parody. I mean, right, as you say, as Holly said, it's supposed to make you uncomfortable. It's fun. I mean, it's just so incredible. You have people willing to throw themselves on the pyre, though, to advance the Me Too movement, to advance the aspect of the Me Too movement where the truth doesn't matter and due process is irrelevant and cultural and legal standards are out the window. It's insane. Insane. Dangerous, really. And you know, God only knows what they do if Carell is right and The Office couldn't be remade. You know, people chaining themselves outside of Hollywood studios. Candace in DuPage.
Your last caller was right, spot on. But Dan, I think the reason why everything is accelerating, and I was afraid to say it on air before because I know that liberals and the left listen to all our shows, and sometimes I don't want them to have a clue as to why things are happening. But I think it's because of Twitter, because people are able to reach each other in a nanosecond who would never have been able to share ideas, and that accelerates everything. And I think that world leaders have caught on to this, and that's why they put these little fires out there to start, because they'll start immediately, you know?
Well, yeah, thanks for calling us. Right, and this is where you have to have adults who understand that, you know, the loudest isn't the most correct. Right? The most intense is not a substitute for evidence. Robert in Oak Brook.
Hey, good day, folks. My brother, who lives in California, got me a T-shirt that has our president's face on it, Donald Trump's face, and underneath it says "Mr. President." And I wore that yesterday to the gym, and I was asked to leave the gym.
Really? What gym was that?
Planet
Fitness?
Yeah.
Where?
So,
which
but
one?
my point was that
which
people
one?
came up. Planet Fitness in Westchester.
Oh, interesting.
But
Okay.
my point was to him, what I asked, a couple girls came up to me, how could you wear that? And I said, what has our president done to you personally? Well, the list is too long. I go, just give me one. Crickets. That's my point. I mean, people don't, if you ask them direct questions, they never have a direct answer. Well, what did he do to you?
Yeah.
Except make your life better.
Well, thanks for the call, Robert. It's interesting. It's the power of and the danger of the mob, and you're just half a step and a skip from being Portland, where you got Antifa thugs directing traffic and accosting elderly men in Lexuses. I mean, it's really Sue on the north side. You're in Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey. So I just wanted to say I actually do listen, even though I don't tend to agree with a lot of what is said on your show.
Okay.
I do listen because I feel like it's important to have a dialogue and a conversation and find some balance, because, that is the one thing that we're lacking. The previous caller talked about how fast information is coming at us and how social media and Twitter and all of these things are sort of used by leadership to manipulate. And I think we're being manipulated if we don't just listen to each other and find some balance and have a conversation. I think it's really, really important.
Yeah.
And especially when you can do that without sarcasm, negativity, assumptions. I appreciated the voices of the previous women callers because they were saying what they thought. I don't fully agree with all of what they're saying. And by the way, I raised my kids on The Office, even though I'm a liberal, because they get it. And it is saying something about human nature. And it's funny. And it's, times may shift and we may have to just kind of slow down so we can catch up. That's all I got.
All right.
Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for the call, Sue. Appreciate it.
I need 2 men on this. That's what she said. No time. But she did. No time!
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Keith Peters in for Lou Dobbs. Sears closing 150 stores. Florida orange harvest up after a long decline. And economic reports on tap today. Those stories next.
Ike was such a sweet, lovable animal, and people would want to pet him, and they'd come up, and they'd get close to him, and it would be this instant, oh! My dad didn't want to touch him. It's like, ooh, get the stinky dog away from me.
Even after we'd give her a bath, she would still stink.
Very stinky, both bad breath and bad gas. I asked the vet, and he said some dogs are just stinky.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
The digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
The ingredients convinced me that it was definitely worth trying. After about a week, he started smelling normal. My husband and I were really kind of astonished.
Dinovite is nutrition.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Sears Holding Company plans to close about 150 of its remaining 700 department stores. It will try to keep 300 others open as it restructures its debt. The once dominant Sears outlets fell victim to consumer trends toward online shopping. Despite Hurricane Michael hammering the state last week, Florida's orange crop is expected to rise for the first time in 7 years. Most Florida oranges are sold to juice manufacturers. The state's grapefruit crop is also up by 73%. Economic reports ahead today. The Commerce Department will release September retail sales data, an update on business inventories, and analysts will pour through the quarterly financial results of Bank of America, which were released prior to the market opening. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up at 7:07. Yeah, there you go. We better play that theme music while we still can. Coming up at 7:07, competing Trump interviews. The president on 60 Minutes, Melania, ABC, will pour over them after we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
A 15-year-old shot and killed on the west side. Police continue to investigate. SWAT teams remain on the scene of a Southside standoff involving a suspected gunman. Sears, as expected, is filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and the Dolphins rally to beat the Bears in overtime. WINT Chicago News Time is 7 o'clock.
President Trump spars with 60 Minutes. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
I don't want to have that fight with you.
Hey,
All
it's
right,
okay.
Another fight with you.
Leslie, it's okay. In the meantime, I'm president and you're not.
The president and CBS's Leslie Stahl got into it on several issues.
Why don't you just say the Russians meddled?
Because I think China meddled also.
She asked if he'd pledged not to fire Special Counsel Mueller in the Russia probe. The president said no, but the idea he got Russia's help is ridiculous. She pressed him on climate change, North Korea, and reported chaos in the White House.
It's wrong. It's so false. It's fake news.
The president also raised eyebrows, calling Defense Secretary Mattis sort of a Democrat.
We get along very well. He may leave. I mean, at some point, everybody leaves.
The president also said if Saudi Arabia is responsible for murdering a missing journalist, it'd be terrible and disgusting.
We're going to get to the bottom of it, and there will be severe punishment.
Fox's Simon Owen has the latest on that investigation live from London.
Dave, 13 days after Washington Post columnist Jamal Khashoggi was last seen walking into the Saudi consulate in Istanbul, Turkey's foreign ministry saying an inspection of the facility is expected later today, a joint visit involving both Turkish and Saudi officials. The countries have agreed to investigate together. Turkish officials have alleged that Khashoggi, a critic of the Saudi crown prince, was killed and dismembered by a Saudi hit team. Saudi Arabia calls those claims baseless. Dave?
Simon, next hour, President Trump hits the road going to Florida and Georgia to look at Hurricane Michael's devastation. Will Sears survive? The one-time retail powerhouse has filed for bankruptcy protection,
which means the chain will stay open, at least for now. The Chapter 11 filing means the bankruptcy court will run the company. Hedge fund manager Edward Lampert will step down as CEO but will remain chairman.
Fox's Ginny Cosola. There used to be thousands of Sears and Kmart stores. That's down to about 700, and 142 more will close. This is Fox News.
Gray skies in Chicago, 38 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott. The SWAT team is on the scene of a standoff following what appears to be a domestic-related shooting on Chicago's south side near 70th and Prairie. Police tell us a woman is hospitalized in stable condition, and investigators say the suspected shooter had barricaded himself inside a second-floor apartment. In a story we told you about last week and was hinted at by Bloomberg and the Wall Street Journal, Sears has filed for bankruptcy. The Hoffman Estates-based retailer filed for Chapter 11 protection early this morning. In a last-ditch effort to survive, Sears opened well over a century ago, was the largest retailer in the nation before the rise of the Walmarts, Amazons, and Targets of the world. 5-year-old girl is dead, 7 others hurt, following a 2-vehicle crash in Chicago's Brighton Park neighborhood. Authorities say a Ford Focus ran a red light and slammed into an SUV yesterday near Western and 43rd. An investigation continues after a 15-year-old boy was shot and killed on Chicago's west side. Anton Shaw was found dead Saturday night in an alley on North Long Avenue. While attending a vigil, Shaw's brother says the teen had dreams of getting out of the hood.
He told me one day he was going to make it and take us out the hood. But, yeah, I see that was taken away from my little brother.
The teen had been shot in the face. No arrests have been made. Union musicians for the Chicago Lyric Opera Orchestra heading back to work after being on strike since last week. Dolphins rally to beat the Bears 31-28 in Miami. Red Sox rally for a 7-5 win over the Astros in the ALCS. The Blackhawks are off until Thursday when they take on the Coyotes at the UC. The news is a service of Amtrak. What if there was a car that could breeze through traffic? Well, there isn't, but there is Amtrak, where you can sit in comfort, not traffic, and now save more too. Save 20% when you book 14 days in advance at Amtrak.com. Restrictions apply. Amtrak. See where the train can take you. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Hey guys, Ken here from the hit podcast Today's Growth, now heard regularly in 18 countries. What percentage of you listening to this commercial often say to yourself, what could I do to make more money, or how can we increase our business? I'm guessing that's most of you. Have you ever heard knock on the door and it'll open? Well, my friends at Income Store have doors you can open that can help you or your family make more money, or doors that lead to an increase in revenue for any business of any size. Income Store has 2 main doors on their website. These doors lead to over 2,000 revenue-generating ideas and products. Although a few of their products are pricey, 90+% of their growth formulas are delivered free or nearly free. Income Store's growth products and ideas have been publicized and featured on Forbes, Inc., USA Today, and recently the Biography Channel. Could your household or business use a revenue shot in the backside? Are you sick of your checkbook talking back and saying no? If so, you need to knock on the doors of IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
If you're self-employed and purchase your own health insurance, I have some good news. From now until December 15th, you cannot be denied coverage based on a pre-existing condition, and depending on your income, you may find a more affordable plan. And this year, thanks to President Trump, if you're healthy and your income is too high to qualify for a subsidy, there is a new and competitive non-Obamacare marketplace where premiums are much lower and the PPO networks include access to our teaching hospitals in Chicago. Employers who provide small group coverage also have new options, and so do seniors looking for Medicare supplement coverage. Call me, I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. Your own health insurance mentor. See Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com as someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for 7 years. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551.
To experience relief from muscle cramps in your legs and feet, use TheraWorks Relief. This non-greasy foam is proven to relieve muscle cramps fast and reduce muscle soreness. TheraWorks Relief can also prevent muscle cramps before they start, so you can get a full night's sleep without having to worry about muscle cramps. TheraWorks Relief only takes minutes to apply, absorbs quickly, and it works. TheraWorks Relief is a life-changing product, and you don't even need a prescription. Get TheraWorks Relief today in the pain relief aisle at Walmart, CVS, Rite Aid, and Walgreens pharmacies or TheraWorksRelief.com.
It's a crisp fall morning. Time for your daily pumpkin soy latte. As you wait for your coffee, you get a buzz. No, it's not your boss wanting extra whipped cream, but your ADT video doorbell. It's a package. Your new latte machine. No more $5 PSLs. Barista service. Brought to you by ADT. Designing and installing a smart home just for you. Backed by best-in-class 24/7 protection. Learn more at ADT.com. ADT. Real protection. License information available at ADT.com.
You can't change the whole world, but you can be part of the change in the world for a child living in poverty by becoming a Compassion International child sponsor. You can choose a child to sponsor now at compassion.com/radio. That's compassion.com/radio.
7:07. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Outbound Stevenson Expressway traffic's at a standstill. From Ryan to Kedzie, one right lane is still blocked after a much earlier crash. It's an hour from Lakeshore Drive to 355. In about an hour and 22 minutes, Gapers Jam, First Avenue to Kedzie. In it's 35 minutes, Lakehook to Junction, outbound 22. Kennedy, 50 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 26 from Montrose, 23 in the Express. Outbound 56 to the airport. Eisenhower. Is an hour from 390 to downtown, 44 minutes from Manheim, outbound 48 minutes to 390. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 34 minutes, I-80 to the Merck, Bishop 424. Northbound Tri-State delays are from the Stevenson to 31st and Roosevelt to Lawrence. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte. From the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Windy today with clouds giving way to some sun, cool with a high 48, clear and cold for the night, low 33. Tomorrow, partly sunny, breezy and cool with a high 55. Then a clear to partly cloudy night, could see freezing temperatures, low 38. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
37 at O'Hare, 39 along the lakefront, 35 this morning in Aurora, and your next news update is at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan, and, well, it's just me, but Amy will be back. tomorrow, all things go well. Today, thinking about and reviewing the interviews that Team Trump gave over the weekend. Melania to ABC, her first sort of open-ended, wide-ranging interview while overseas in Africa. Again, we played a number of snippets from that interview that were teased throughout the week yesterday, but she added more when the full interview aired on Friday night, and we'll get to her husband. He's the president, Sit down with Leslie Stahl 60 Minutes momentarily, but one issue where Melania, it was perceived that she really got involved and perhaps moved Trump's opinion on the matter, was the family separation policy at the border. And she addressed that straight away, basically confirming what we knew to be true, not only that she flew down to the border to see what was happening, which she did, but also that she talked to her husband about the policy and what she thought should be done.
I'm starting to self-censor.
That's not her, but this is.
I saw it on the news, and I reacted right away.
Was it the kids in the cages? We interviewed mothers who were crying, saying they'd been separated for 8 months from their children.
Separation, yes. It was unacceptable for me to see children and parents separated. It was heartbreaking. And I reacted with my own voice. I went to the border and met with the Border Patrol.
And then she got back and she spoke to her husband.
It was under your husband's policy, the zero tolerance policy, that these families were separated, that enforcement. Is this somewhere where you disagreed with him?
Yes, and I let him know. I didn't know that policy will come out. I was blindsided by it. I told him at home, and I said to him that I feel that's unacceptable, and he felt the same.
And so he changed his policy. It's funny, he was asked about that, President Trump was, by Leslie Stahl as well, the family separation policy, and whether or not he was open to going back to this if he doesn't get the reform to our immigration laws that he wants. And he wouldn't rule it in or out, but there was essentially an acknowledgement that there was a change in policy with respect to enforcing it. It was not a change in policy per the courts, per previous administrations. We know this. The D.C. Press Corps pretends not to. But it was with respect to enforcement. And so an example where, Melania is more than just a pretty face. She did get involved, and she has some influence with her husband on the topic, as you would expect. Something else that I thought was very interesting, the jacket that caused the D.C. Press Corps to lose its collective mind. They just have one. They're sharing it. The jacket, I really don't care, do you? Remember the fuss that caused? Well, this is where Melania, maybe borrowing a page from her husband, sending a message directly to the leftist media, not quite the way he does it, but an unmistakable message nonetheless. And that's basically what she said she was doing.
I often asking myself, if I would not wear that jacket, if I would have so much media coverage. It's obvious I didn't wear the jacket for the children. I wore the jacket to go on the plane and off the plane. And it was for the people and for the left-wing media who are criticizing me. And I want to show them that I don't care. You could criticize whatever you want to say, but it will not stop me to do what I feel it's right.
I just like Melania saying left-wing media. Don't you? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. She also talked about her Be Best campaign or something, or Be Better campaign, or social media anti-cyberbullying campaign. And, of course, that prompts the question about, well, what do you think about your husband's conduct on Twitter, on social media, if you're against sort of the name-calling and the back and forth of a personal or ad hominem nature?
I don't agree always what he posts, but his action is his action, and I tell him that. I know I will be hit with criticism to talking about cyberbullying, but it will not stop me to do what is right.
Did he tell you he didn't want you to do cyberbullying?
He didn't say not to do it. He understands that he's very tough on Twitter, but he understands that I want to help next generation and the children.
All right. The next generation, the children are going to be better on Twitter than President Trump. And then, of course, leading up to the big question, the very big question, personal question. And again, Melania said there were no questions off limits for this ABC interview, something ABC repeated a couple of times to make it clear. And so they asked the question about her husband's fidelity and whether or not these allegations of infidelity, whether or not the last 2 years or 3 years, if you include the campaign, of those sorts of allegations bother her.
You did agree to this interview, to your credit, with no preconditions, knowing that there could be some tough questions asked. And it has been a tough year for you personally. You're not the first lady to have to deal with her husband's alleged infidelities. Has this put a strain on your marriage?
It is not concern and focus of mine. I'm a mother and a first lady, and I have much more important things to think about and to do. I know people like to speculate, and media like to speculate about our marriage.
Have you been hurt, though?
Media, what is speculating, yeah, it's not always pleasant, of course, but I know what is right and what is wrong and what is true and not true.
The only time you have commented publicly your office was when Rudy Giuliani came out and said your thoughts about Stormy Daniels' claims and said she believes in her husband, she knows it's not true. Is that an accurate statement?
I never talked to Mr. Giuliani.
Uh-oh. Why do you think he came out and said that?
I don't know. You need to ask him.
You mentioned you still have a good marriage. Do you love your husband?
Yes, we are fine. Yes. It's what media speculate, and it's gossip. It's not always correct stuff.
Yeah, like when Rudy's trying to run interference for the president, apparently. I thought it was Melania's interview, as I said last week, just from the clips that were pre-released, definitely rose in my estimation. Restrained and thoughtful and prepared for just about every question that was asked. Really. I didn't really sense any slip up. And people say, well, she didn't reveal anything new. We don't know her any better than we did prior to this interview. I'm not so sure about that, but clearly she's guarded, and why wouldn't she be? Why wouldn't she want to keep essentially the press corps and to an extent the American public at arm's length? And so I don't fault her for that at all. I thought the remarks on her marriage were very interesting, and I wonder if there's a bit of, perhaps at this stage, I don't want to speak out of school. I don't want to engage in the media speculation that she finds distasteful. But if there's maybe not a bit of a transactional nature to the marriage, I won't go so far as to say like the Clintons, but a transactional nature to it. I've got more important work to do as a mother and a first lady. So there was no anger. There was no evidence of any bitterness or hurt feelings, but I think she's also sort of a stiff upper lip gal when it comes to the things that start to get into her private space. She's always been very protective of her son, as you would expect a mother to be, Barron, who, as you know, I believe is running the whole operation. But she's interesting to me. I'd like to hear a lot more of what she has to say, even with sort of, slow curveballs that are being thrown by that Tom Lamas guy or whatever his name is at ABC News. Now, on the flip side, that was interesting, mostly because of what Melania had to say. Trump is always sort of interesting, and sometimes in a spectacle sort of way. But the interview on 60 Minutes was so without point. You absolutely learn nothing new. And here's a guy who's not like his wife in terms of being reticent or restrained. And yet Leslie Stahl, all this run up to this big interview, And the only thing that was interesting at all, and that's only because it's happening in real time, is U.S. policy towards Saudi Arabia if our intelligence agencies are able to confirm that the Crown Prince, MBS, put the hit out on this journalist, Jamal Khashoggi. That's the only question and answer that was even interesting, and it wasn't like this is a great question by Stahl. It's a question you have to ask because, as I said, it's a real-time issue. Everything else was stuff you've heard from Trump unsolicited at campaign rallies and press gaggles for months and months. I mean, it was just utter incompetence on the part of Stahl, but okay. So here's the one interesting, newsworthy comment that Trump had to make, and this is about what U.S. policy will be, or could be, with respect to Saudi Arabia.
As of this moment, they deny it, and they deny it vehemently. Could it be them? Yes.
Jared, your son-in-law, got on the phone and asked the prince. Did he deny it?
They deny it. They deny it every way you can imagine. In the not too distant future, I think we'll know an answer.
What are your options? Let's say they did. What are your options? Would you consider imposing sanctions as a bipartisan group of senators have proposed?
Well, it depends on what the sanction is. I'll give you an example. They are ordering military equipment. Everybody in the world wanted that order. Russia wanted it. China wanted it. We wanted it. We got it.
So would you cut that off?
Well, I tell you what I don't want to do. Boeing, Lockheed, Raytheon, all these I don't want to hurt jobs. I don't want to lose an order like that. There are other ways of punishing, to use a word that's a pretty harsh word, but it's true.
Tell everybody what's at stake here. You know,
there's a lot at stake. Yeah. There's a lot at stake, and maybe especially so because this man was a reporter. There's something, you'll be surprised to hear me say that, there's something really terrible and disgusting about that if that were the case. So we're going to have to see. We're going to get to the bottom of it, and there will be severe punishment.
Severe punishment did not go into detail on what the severe punishment may look like or options that he's keeping on the table. You heard him express his reticence to nix the arms deal that has been secured. It's complicated because MBS is this Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince, is hardly a liberalizer that he's portrayed to be by some in the D.C. press corps. By the way, longtime member of the Muslim Brotherhood. So there are these issues similar to issues you have to flesh out with respect to companies like Boeing that wanted to do business with Iran. And there was real opposition to that, because Iran's the leading state sponsor of terror in the world. Well, you have a 33-year-old Crown Prince who, behaving in a pretty brazen manner when you've got video of Khashoggi going into the embassy and no video of him coming out. And a lot of credible speculation because he was such a open and vociferous critic of the regime in Saudi Arabia that MBS put the hit out on Khashoggi. Not exactly a skilled way, in addition to an immoral way, obviously, to deal with political opposition. A skilled way to do it, and now it sets in motion this perhaps change in U.S. policy towards Saudi Arabia, the imposition of some sort of sanctions, the nixing of this arms deal, and you've got some in the Senate on the left, and you've certainly got some on the right, like Marco Rubio, suggesting that this is a proper course of action and, kind of amping up, ready to move. So this creates another geopolitical problem for President Trump in a powder keg region of the world.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Did you know that studies have shown that we need over 10 servings of fruits and veggies every single day? If you're like me, it's hard to find the time and money to prepare and eat all of those fruits and vegetables. Who can do that? Yet we know that proper nutrition can prevent health problems, give us energy, and help us heal faster. Balance of Nature has spent over 20 years researching and delivering solutions to this problem. We can ensure that you consume over 30 different fruits and veggies every single day. Our capsules are filled with 100% real whole foods. There isn't a single thing added to Balance of Nature products. They're pure. We spent an incredible amount of time on the quality of our products. We do this for you. We do it for our own families. Give yourself a break and give your body what it needs. Call now to receive 35% off your first Balance of Nature order. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Imagine your son after a year of college. What kind of man do you hope to see? A man fully alive and committed to making good choices and doing the right thing because they are right and because he's strong enough. Northridge Prep in Niles builds that kind of man. At an open house on Sunday, October 21st, see for yourself what makes Northridge Prep the #1 all-boys school 3 years running and the 4th best Catholic school in Illinois. The academically rigorous curriculum celebrates the adventure of boyhood. Hallfest, the Superfans, jousting tournaments, and more make it a good place to be a boy. Northridge Prep is an independent school for boys grades 6 through 12. They produce men with the ability to think for themselves. Graduates go to the best universities, including the Ivy League. Every teacher is a role model. 50% of the faculty attended a top 20 university. So don't miss Northridge Prep's open house on Sunday, October 21st. That's this Sunday. Learn more and register online at northridgeprep.org. That's northridgeprep.org.
Hey, fall is here, and so are those weekend cleanup projects. Hey, Sean Hannity here to tell you that getting organized is simple and easy with Store Lock Modular Systems, the best tool cabinet you'll ever buy. They're durable, Store-Lock modular systems. They're built the old-fashioned way, made to order, exactly how you want it, and they're 100% crafted in the USA. And these storage systems have dividers, liners, layouts. All are made with quality materials, including steel ball bearings and heat-treated steel rollers. Store-Lock is so strong that each drawer holds up to 400 pounds. Your custom system is powder-coated in-house in any color that you want, plus it's fully assembled when it ships, so you can get organized really fast. Store Lock fits any home or business, will last a lifetime with its 55-year top-to-bottom warranty. All you have to do is order today and receive your system in about 4 weeks. Call now at 1-800-STOR-LOC. That's Store Lock, 1-800-STORE-LOCK. And check out StoreLock.com for upcoming events.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Do you believe Springfield works for us? Sean Thompson from Elmwood Park doesn't.
Nobody represents me, and nobody represents you. They represent themselves.
Ann Peterson from West Chicago isn't getting her money's worth out of Springfield.
I don't believe that we're getting additional value for the additional taxes that we're paying.
Your property taxes go up, your home value goes down. Politicians waste your money. The government takes your home. Rich, poor, Republican, Democrat, we're all the same when it comes to property taxes. Gino Fioravanti of River Forest is leaving Illinois because of high taxes.
We're not going to be living in Illinois anymore, and it's due to the property taxes. They've just gotten out of control.
It's bipartisan failure.
You either force politicians who oppose property tax caps out of office, or they force you out of Illinois. A group of independent property tax reform candidates are running to save your home. Go to SaveYourHomeNow.org to take up their fight just as they have taken up yours. You stay. The politicians go, because they're the ones who suck. SaveYourHomeNow.org.
Liberty Principles paid for this ad and is solely responsible for its content, not authorized by any candidate or candidate committee.
Folks, when shopping for a home mortgage, how much is great service, low closing costs, and competitive interest rates worth to you? At Townstone Financial, it's priceless. Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from one of our customers.
We have a 40-year-old daughter with metastatic stage 4 breast cancer, and the reason we needed to refinance is so we can help her. Zach said, yeah, we can do something, and believe me, he's my hero right now. He took enough money out to pay all my taxes, my insurances, everything is now escrowed. I love what he did, and didn't change any of the terms that he said to begin with. Your competitor was like a bad car salesman. Phenomenal job, Zach.
Remember, nobody values your home mortgage business more than Townstone. I guarantee it, and I own the company. So call me now, Barry Sterner, at 312-896-2110. That's 312-896-2110. Or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financial is licensed in Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida. NMLS 136639. www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Equal housing lender.
Comb-overs, hats, remembering to shave your head. It doesn't matter what you try. Hair loss isn't pretty. That's why Chicago football icon Brian Urlacher, known for his bald head, decided to tackle balding with Restore. Thanks to Restore's breakthrough one-day procedure, being more attractive, confident, and looking younger has never been easier. You'll spend the day playing on your tablet while healthy hair is relocated from the back of your head to the balding areas. Listen to Hall of Famer Brian Urlacher talk about his experience with Restore.
Once I got my consultation at Restore, the decision was easy. People can't believe that it's my hair. It's an amazing experience for me, and I owe it all to Restore.
Restore has helped thousands of men regrow their own hair. Now through October 26th, see what you could look like with a full head of hair with a free 3D hair analysis. Plus $500 off when you call 800-262-1212. That's 800-262-1212 for your free 3D hair analysis. Plus $500 off, but only until October 26th. Call now, 800-262-1212.
AM 560, The Answer.
Our Representative Republic can die in brightly lit courtrooms. F.H. Buckley, professor at George Mason University's Scalia School of Law, will join us at 7:37 to explain. Now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
Gray skies this morning and some light rain showers through the early morning hours. Now 37 degrees. A SWAT team remains on the scene of a standoff following what appears to be a domestic-related shooting on Chicago's south side near 70th and Prairie. Turkish authorities plan to enter the Saudi consulate in Istanbul today, where journalist Jamal Khashoggi was last seen nearly 2 weeks ago. NBC's Bill Neely is in Istanbul this morning.
Turkey has suggested that in the next few hours there will be an inspection of the Saudi consulate here in Istanbul where Khashoggi disappeared. They're not even using the word search, and it will be with Saudi officials.
Khashoggi, a U.S. resident and a Saudi citizen, often critical of his native country, has not been seen since October 2nd. The U.S. should not act as business as usual is continuing with Saudi Arabia. That's what Senator Marco Rubio said on CNN's State of the Union.
There needs to be a strong response if, in fact, this proves to be true. If they lured this man into that consulate, they went medieval on him, and he was killed, and he was chopped up, and they sent a death crew down there to kill him and do all this, that'd be an outrage.
The Florida Republican says he believes the U.S. should hold off on all meetings with Saudi officials and trips to the Saudi kingdom until the truth comes out. Federal lawsuit claiming Harvard University discriminates against Asian Americans goes on trial today. The group Students for Fair Admissions argues that Harvard rates Asian Americans lower based on personality traits and believes they are unlikable. Harvard is denying the allegations. In a story we told you about last week and was profiled in both Bloomberg and the Wall Street Journal, Sears has filed for bankruptcy. The Hoffman Estates-based company filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection early this morning. A 5-year-old girl is dead. 7 others are hurt following a 2-vehicle crash in Chicago's Brighton Park neighborhood. Chief Judge of the Chicago-based federal court says a U.S. magistrate judge, Daniel Martin, has died. He was 63. Chicago sports. Dolphins rally to beat the Bears 31-28 in Miami. Cody Parkey missed a 53-yard field goal try in OT that would have won it for the Bears. Red Sox rally for a 7-5 win over the Astros to even up that ALCS at Fenway Park. The news is a service of Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org. 7:33, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
What if you could enjoy total peace of mind when it comes to home security? What if the best technology came from a local company who puts the customer's needs first? Alarm Detection Systems is the right choice for an alarm system with complete control from your phone or tablet. Know when your children arrive home from school. View live streaming video. Check up on your pets. Receive alerts for extreme temperatures. Know if leaks or floods have been detected. Get real-time text alerts sent to your phone. Family-owned and operated since 1968, Alarm Detection Systems understands that nothing is more important than the safety of your family. Your security system will be monitored by our central station in Aurora, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Alarm Detection Systems is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Our on-site security consultation is always free. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6322. That's 630-844-6322. Alarm license number 127000143.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Old Joe Donnelly keeps talking big on outsourcing. Here's Joe.
They want to pay $3 an hour in Mexico and then ship those products back to America to people who are making decent wages.
But Donnelly's own family business got caught outsourcing jobs to Mexico. And get this, according to job postings, workers at the Donnelly's Mexican factory got paid, you guessed it, $3 an hour. $3 an hour. Donnelly made up to $80,000 from his family business, lining his pockets while American jobs were outsourced to Mexico. So when Donnelly says this about outsourcing,
it's unpatriotic, it's shameful, and it's un-American.
Remember, he's talking about himself. Just say no to Mexico Joe Donnelly. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Looking to secure financing on a new home? Then you need to call Team Hochberg. Stephanie, account manager, contacted her credit union to get pre-qualified for a mortgage. Bad move. The credit union's alleged mortgage expert informed Stephanie she couldn't purchase a home without a cosigner. Wrong. Stephanie's grandfather would cosign, but she wanted to do it herself. After hearing hundreds of our ads, Stephanie called for a free consultation. An experienced Team Hochberg mortgage professional answered Stephanie's questions and helped her secure a mortgage without a cosigner. Let's review. The inexperienced mortgage professional at Stephanie's credit union stated she needed a cosigner to purchase a home, and Team Hochberg secured her a mortgage without a cosigner. When securing a mortgage, you could either get terrible advice at your credit union, or you could call Team Hochberg at 312-751-1333. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee 4358 and MLS 19186.
Check out the newest podcast from the Associated Press, Ground Game, hosted by AP's Megan Crane. A weekly conversation about top political issues ahead of the upcoming midterm elections. Available on Apple Podcasts.
7:37. Let's get an update on the roads this early morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
On southbound 53, we're seeing roadwork delays. Northwest Highway to Higgins, northbound 355. Veterans Memorial, stop and go from 75th to the Reagan Tollway. Reagan Tollway's okay. Southbound Tri-State, bumper to bumper 120 to 137 and 280 to the Adams Tollway. Northbound, it's slow going 95th to Ogden and Roosevelt to Lawrence. Eden's 22 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose. The Kennedy, an hour and 10 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 40 minutes from Montrose, 37 on the Express. Eisenhower, an hour and 3 minutes, 390 to downtown, 47 minutes from Manhunt. Stevenson, an hour and 21 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive due to an outbound crash at Kedzie. Outbound, it's an hour and 5 minutes. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, windy, cold, cooler with clouds giving way to sunshine later today. High 48, clear and cold, 33 with a frost advisory up overnight. 55 tomorrow and 48 on Wednesday. Currently 37 at O'Hare, 36 in Aurora. Your next news update is at 8, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Retirement Zone Radio and the North Shore Capital Group, empowering you Saturday mornings at 6 a.m.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan. Amy is back in studio tomorrow, and looking forward to this conversation. This should be interesting. F.H. Buckley is a law professor at the George Mason University Scalia School of Law. And by the way, I just recently saw this picture of Scalia. Talk about how times have changed. Scalia smoking a pipe during his confirmation hearings for the Supreme Court of the United States. How cool is that? And how far afield we are from those halcyon days today. Professor Buckley recently wrote a piece for the Wall Street Journal. America has too much law, making the point democracy can also die in brightly lit courtrooms, as well as in brightly lit congressional hearing rooms. But he makes the point in his piece, among other things, that, for example, Hillary Clinton should not have been prosecuted during the 2016 campaign, despite the relative creativity when it came to the rule of law of one former FBI director, Jim Comey. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by Professor F.H. Buckley from George Mason. Professor, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So my question, I guess, and you kind of touch on both points in your piece, and I think this is sort of where Americans are trying to make sense of it. Do we have too much law, or two systems, or two systems of justice, or some combination of the two?
Well, my main point is that, there's something noble about democracy. We fought for it on battlefields. We fight for it in the ballot box. And when it's taken away from us by lawyers and judges, then we've lost something very precious. And that was my argument for, against the grain, not going after Hillary Clinton and not trying to criminalize the great Trump defendant by the Mueller investigation and so on.
Right. And so the idea is we're criminalizing politics. This is a discussion we've had, frankly, in Illinois with all the governors who've gone to jail.
Yeah, right.
But this notion of, and this was used against McDonnell in Virginia as well, and the Supreme Court struck down some of his convictions. This inalienable right to public service, or to ethical public service, which is sort of an abstraction, and it can lead the zealous prosecutor to criminalizing politics.
Well, yeah, and the problem here is that we're not talking about, maybe I'm not talking about Blago, okay, but what we're talking about are secondary crimes, process crimes. The thing they got Mike Flynn for, they got Flynn for lying to the FBI about something where, had he told the truth, it wouldn't have been a crime. It was the Martha Stewart thing.
Right.
And so the problem here is there's so many crimes out there that if they want to get you, they can pretty much get you. And when that happens and it's used aggressively in politics, then we've turned into, countries like Ukraine where they go after ex-presidents who always end up in jail.
And so this I'm sorry, go ahead.
I guess I don't want to defend Blago, however.
No, I understand. I wouldn't put you in that position. But so is this sort of where the death of common sense meets 3 felonies a day? Sort of two popular books that really sort of talked about our bureaucratic state, and then also just the idea that you have so much law, you're committing crimes, you don't even know it.
Absolutely right. It really is 3 felonies a day. And the politicization of everything. We're at a point in our country right now where, it's a very short step from I oppose you politically to you're a criminal. Mm-hmm. And that's a step we don't want to take. And one thing we want to do is, if there are rogues out there, if there are people who are somewhat corrupt, and here I put Hillary Clinton, in many cases, it's the people who should decide that. We're not talking about out-and-out bribes that can be clearly proven, i.e. Blago. We're talking about things that kind of look like bribes, which is Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation, but you couldn't prove, really. You could charge, and you could look for a process crime, right, but or a technical offense, but we don't want to go there.
What about, though, the two systems of justice concern? And here's Hillary's a good example of that, of course, which is, well, wait a second, you have other people who've done the same thing with classified information that she did, and they're charged with crimes, their careers are ended, and she gets a walk. And so the concern about two systems of justice in this country.
Yeah, that is a problem. Overzealousness with respect to some prosecutions is not an argument for extending it to politicians. I think what you're doing is you're saying we've been too overzealous with respect to some minor offenses. And what you're referring to, by the way, are people in the military.
Right.
And they have different standards, tough standards.
But is this the way that we're sort of starting from the premises of the "show me the man and I'll find you the crime" crowd?
Yeah.
When
Laventry Beria.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. And we're sort of on that path when we're saying, well, there's all these laws and somebody was charged under this law and somebody wasn't, so everybody should be charged rather than everybody shouldn't be charged.
Yeah. Well, they used to play a game in the attorney's office in New York City. How many crimes could you charge Mother Teresa with, right? They come up with a whole ton of them, right? There's always something. And so this is like 3 felonies a day meets, American politics. What's different now, especially with the Mueller investigation and all the small fry that are being prosecuted, what's different now is this has been politicized.
And so then it just becomes a matter of whoever has the machinery of government can prosecute their political enemies, and then you get to your Eastern Bloc territory.
A good example is my local paper, the Washington Post, has a banner on top that says "Democracy dies in darkness," and they've got people speculating about crimes here, crimes there. Basically, the entire Trump administration is guilty of some crime. And why don't we go after them? And my piece was written in response. And by the way, I'm a complete Trump supporter. I was a Trump speechwriter, and I have a book out there called The Republican Workers' Party, which is all about why Trump was necessary. So I have a partisan angle in this, but at the same time, I didn't want to seem partisan. So I said, look, I even think Hillary should have gotten a pass on this.
What do you think about the kind of endless independent counsel investigations, as well as congressional hearings, including the prospect of subpoenaing Rod Rosenstein over the stories that he was interested in making a 25th Amendment play on Trump?
Well, Justice Scalia, to whom you referred to a moment ago, said this is going to be a devastating blow to our democracy, and he was completely right. You give somebody unlimited time and unlimited power to go after people, and that's pretty much what happens. They take unlimited time. I'd like to think everybody's honorable in all of this. I don't really want to impeach the integrity of Mueller and Rosenstein. They're kind of doing what the system expects them to do, which is what good lawyers do, which is take all the time in the world to find out a problem. But it's getting in the way of our democracy. I mean, one wanted Mueller really to come out with something around now before the congressional. And, and it's just spinning out of control the way these things tend to do. So it's a process independent of politics. And I want to say, no, this is dangerous to politics. We're hurting something. We're hurting the voice of the people.
All right. He is Professor F.H. Buckley, professor at George Mason University's Scalia School of Law. The piece in the Wall Street Journal, America Has Too Much Law. The book, Republican Workers' Party. Professor Buckley, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And you joined us on Turnkey.pro Answer Line.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The following is a paid political announcement.
This Manufacturing Minute brought to you by the Technology and Manufacturing Association.
This is Rich Hoster, president of Smith & Richardson Manufacturing in Geneva. Did you know that Illinois is home to 5 of the 10 biggest manufacturing zip codes in the nation and the largest industrial park in North America? And did you know that exports of U.S. manufactured goods have quadrupled over the past 25 years? That's right. Manufacturing here in Illinois is strong and growing stronger. Manufacturing is no longer pouring hot iron into castings on an assembly line with sparks flying in dirty factories. U.S. manufacturing has advanced into high-skilled precision manufacturing, with factories cleaner than your kitchen, producing parts for industries such as aerospace, automotive, medical, agricultural, and tech. Today's high-tech manufacturing is the engine of our economy, and it needs our support so it can drive our state and nation forward.
This Manufacturing Minute brought to you by the Technology and Manufacturing Association. Learn more at tmaillinois.org.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Radical protests storm Washington. Far-left extremists demanding their way or the highway.
And you don't give power to an angry left-wing mob.
Standing with them, Senator Joe Donnelly. Donnelly says he's one of us, yet time after time he stands with them. Voting against Brett Kavanaugh to be on the Supreme Court. Voting against President Trump's historic tax cuts. And Donnelly claims to be full of common sense. But he voted for the reckless nuclear deal with Iran that makes us less safe. Senator Donnelly, he just isn't who he says he is. Mike Braun is a political outsider, job creator, and doer. Mike Braun's one of us. He'll help President Trump make the tax cuts permanent, and he'll vote to confirm conservative judges like Brett Kavanaugh. On Election Day, stand with Mike Braun for Senate.
I'm Mike Braun, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
This is Michael Medved. I'm here with Mike Stahl from Health Markets, helping folks find the right Medicare coverage. The news reports say that the rates might be going down.
The cost of many Medicare plans are decreasing this year. So you have to ask yourself, are you getting the best rate? Health Markets offers a free service with access to thousands of Medicare plans. Plans that can eliminate your out-of-pocket costs. Plans with $0 premiums. And even plans that pay you back.
What is it people need to keep in mind?
With so many new options, it can be confusing. You can get objective help to find a plan that may cost less and cover more. With lower copays, more choices like dental, vision, and prescription drug coverage, and the freedom to see the doctors you choose. Don't miss out on savings you deserve. Our Health Markets Medicare assistance is free.
Thanks, Mike. This is Michael Medved for Health Markets.
Find out if you can get a Medicare plan that pays you back. Call 800-735-8803. That's 800-735-8803. 800-735-8803.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
This stuff is the best stuff I've ever taken. I don't take any medicine. I take nothing. If I get a little scratchy throat or even a headache, I take the vegetables. It works very fast. Or I'm feeling like a little down, tired, I take 3 of them, 4 of them, and I'm right up back to where I was. It's unreal how this stuff works, and I rave about it. This guy's a genius when it comes down to it. If anyone's skeptical about taking something, I get it. There's thousands of products out there. Look, you can be confident in this because the one thing that makes me really, really happy about is that you guys make the capsule out of a plant-based product. It's not crap. It's real food, like you would put on the dinner table.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
My number 2 does not look like a number 2. I don't know what to call it. Is there a number 3?
Table for 4, please. Anything close to the restroom.
Oh, a middle seat with these stomach problems? That's my fear of flying.
Sound like you? If it does, you could be one of the many people with a digestive condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. Even if you don't know what EPI is, you might know the symptoms: frequent diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain. If you have even just one of these symptoms, you could still have EPI. Because not everybody experiences EPI the same way, which is why it's so important to open up to your doctor about all your symptoms. And the good news is, EPI is manageable, so don't keep a lid on it. Go to identifyepi.com, complete the symptom checker, and use it to have a conversation with your doctor. Don't keep a lid on it. Visit identifyepi.com. Brought to you by AbbVie.
Hey, Mom. The funeral home called. They want their drapes back.
Oh, you're a funny one. What are you trying to say?
I love your home, but I think you need to update this house. It's time.
I would love that, but I just don't have time to be traipsing all over Chicagoland looking for new window treatments.
Let's call them window coverings, and I have just the solution. Call 1-800-4BLIND-CHICAGO. They bring the store to you.
Give your home an easy and affordable makeover. 1-800-4BLIND-CHICAGO knows window coverings. They know blinds, shades, shutters, and precise installation. But they really know how to make your family home a comfortable place and for a lot less than you'd expect for custom window coverings. New blinds or shades can help with heat reduction, privacy, and make you fall in love with your home all over again. With an in-house installation crew, you can count on a personal touch and quality custom blinds with 1-800-4BLIND-CHICAGO. Connect directly at 1-800-4BLINDCHICAGO.com. That's 1-800-4BLINDSCHICAGO.com.
Songs have been written about it, wars have been fought over it, and just holding it in the palm of your hands is magnificent. Silver and gold have been bartered, bought, and sold for centuries, and now is the time for you to invest in one of the most recognized financial assets and ensure your portfolio is guarded against inflation and a declining dollar. For such an exclusive opportunity and investment, put your trust in Kedzie Coins. Kedzie Coins is an accredited precious metals dealer member with family roots in the heart of Chicago. And as members of the Professional Numismatics Guild, they are committed to the strictest standards of excellence and ethics. With one of the largest selections of gold and silver bullion minted in the U.S., Kedzie Coins is your destination to buy American. Visit one of their 3 locations, Kedzie Coins and Jewelry on 59th and Kedzie in Chicago, What a Gem Jewelry and Coins in Berwyn, or the flagship store, Broadway Jewelry and Rare Coins in Bradley, just north of Kankakee. For questions or to set up an appointment, call 773-436-0777.
AM 560, The Answer.
So, civility in our politics. We talked a bit earlier in the show. We had a call from a liberal who said, it's important that we have a dialogue and listen to people without sarcasm or maybe bear spray, like in Portland. I agree with her, but where's the left on this score, taking the lead from the rhetoric of the Hillary Clintons and the Eric Holders of the world last week? Did you see what happened in Portland? This brawl that happened outside in downtown Saturday night in Portland, outside some popular bar, Kelly's Olympian in Southwest Washington Street there. Antifa clashing with, everybody else. Mostly like a slap fight, but it was sort of interesting to see one guy use bear spray to break up some of the combatants. The combined this weekend, the Metropolitan Republican Club's windows smashed, locks broken, its doors spray painted with anarchy symbols. This is in New York City, office for the state Republican Party. They left a note, too, which is instructive, saying the GOP was being put, quote, on notice. Our attack is merely the beginning. We are not passive, we are not civil, and we will not apologize. Not civil. No time to be civil. Give us those congressional majorities, then we'll reconsider it, right, Mrs. Clinton? And they're still lurking for senators, both on college campuses and in the halls of Congress. You had Bill Cassidy. Senator Bill Cassidy was accosted by a woman who wanted him to apologize to her children. Here's Bill Cassidy, not quite going, I think, the way that Mom had planned, a senator from Louisiana.
Senator Cassidy, can you please apologize to my children for ruining their futures?
Hey, guess what?
Sure, yeah, no
If
problem.
in the future somebody makes it, I know your parents are using you as tools.
No,
but if
we're
in the
not
future,
using them as
in the
tools.
future,
We're
if
not
somebody
using them
makes
as
an
tools.
allegation against you and there's no
But
proof for it, you will be okay.
And you should
Thank
hope
you.
that they go through
But
a
what about
full
black
due
men?
process.
What about black
not
men?
ramming it in
Black
to get...
men get presumption of guilty, but white men get the presumption of innocence. So what about black men if you use that analogy? Come out of the bathroom.
Shame on you.
Well, why don't you come on into the bathroom? That's the position of you folks these days, isn't it? So tried to chase him into the bathroom to get that apology they wanted, and then also the presumption of innocence for black men but not white men. I don't even know how that's relevant in the Brett Kavanaugh saga, but okay. Senator David Perdue, Georgia, was on the campus of Georgia Tech over the weekend, and he was campaigning for the Republican nominee for governor in Georgia, Kemp. The Georgia Tech wing of the Young Democrat Socialists of America, at least they're honest, got up in his grill, and Perdue didn't like it much.
Hey, so how can you endorse a candidate?
No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
You stole my property. You stole my property.
You wanted a
Give me
picture?
my phone back.
You wanted a picture? I'm going to
Give me my phone back, Senator. Give me my phone. That's U.S. Senator David Perdue. U.S. Senator David Perdue just snatched my phone because he won't answer a question to one of his constituents.
So good to see you, my friend.
He's trying to leave. He's trying to leave because he won't answer why he's endorsing a candidate who's trying to purge people from voting on the basis of their race.
Yeah. And he gave him his phone back. Obviously, Senator, anybody shouldn't take somebody's phone away. The kid gets up in your grill, just walk away. But this is where our politics are at. It's not the civil discourse that's so often promoted by the left, but not practiced. Coming up at 8:08, we'll pick up SNL's spoof of Kanye and commiserate John Davidson after Ariana Grande shockingly decided better than to marry him. Now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
Sears files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Fox Business with the latest on that story in a moment. The Dolphins rally to beat the Bears in OT, while the Blackhawks getting set to face the Coyotes. WIND Chicago News Time 8.
He's going to see firsthand how bad Hurricane Michael was. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump and the First Lady will leave in a few minutes for Florida and Georgia. At least 18 deaths are blamed on the storm. Hundreds remain unaccounted for. Hundreds of thousands still have no power from Florida to Virginia.
I'm not denying climate change, but it could very well go back. We're talking about over millions of years. They say that we had hurricanes that were far worse than what we just had with Michael.
The president last night on CBS's 60 Minutes again called the media dishonest in an at times contentious interview.
I've learned on the job. I have.
And you feel comfortable.
I feel very comfortable.
But he admits he doesn't trust everyone at the White House. Fox's John Decker is there live.
President Trump saying that Defense Secretary James Mattis could depart the administration after the midterms.
He's sort of a Democrat, if you want to know the truth. But General Mattis is a good guy. We get along very well. He may leave.
The president also claiming the Supreme Court battle for Brett Kavanaugh will energize Republican voters ahead of the midterm elections.
The way now Justice Kavanaugh was treated has become a big factor in the midterms.
The president also rejecting claims that he mocked Dr. Christine Blasey Ford, who accused Kavanaugh of sexually assaulting her 3 decades ago. Dave?
John, the president tweeted he just talked to Saudi Arabia's king, who denies any knowledge of the believed murder of a missing journalist at the Saudi consulate in Istanbul. The president added he's immediately sending Secretary of State Pompeo to meet with the king. Congress is watching closely.
There is bipartisan sentiment against allowing a multi-billion-dollar arms deal if the disappearance and possible death of Jamal Khashoggi is linked to Saudi leaders. Saudi Arabia has threatened to retaliate against any sanctions with, as a statement said, an even stronger measure.
That's Fox's Gernal Scott. Big news out of Britain. Meghan Markle is pregnant. She and Prince Harry's baby due in the spring. This is Fox News.
Skies are cloudy, 37 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A SWAT team remains on the scene of a standoff following what appears to be a domestic shooting on Chicago's South Side near 70th and Prairie. Sears has filed for bankruptcy. The Hoffman Estates-based company filed for Chapter 11 protection this morning. The department store announcing it would close 142 unprofitable stores by the end of the year. A larger reward is being offered for information that leads to the arrest of a man suspected of killing 2 in Chicago's Rogers Park neighborhood. Union musicians for the Chicago Lyric Opera are heading back to work after being on strike since last week. The musicians ratifying a labor deal that calls for a 5.6% increase in weekly salary over the 3-year contract, but calls for a reduction by 4 musicians from the orchestra. Jason Sanders boots a 47-yard field goal as time expires in overtime. Dolphins rally to beat the Bears 31-28. Cody Parkey missed a 53-yard try in OT that would have won it for the Bears. Mitch Trubisky did throw for 3 touchdowns, but he also threw for an interception in the red zone. Bears dropped to 3-2 on the season. It's 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Sears Holdings is reorganizing under bankruptcy protection. The Chapter 11 filing means the company will continue operating under the court's supervision. There are approximately 700 Sears and Kmart stores remaining. There will be 142 stores closed by the end of the year. Going out of business sales will begin soon at those locations. Bank of America's business improved in the summer quarter. Its profit rose more than 30%. It was helped by the strong economy, higher interest rates, and the new tax law. And there's a merger of two major defense contractors. Harris Corporation and L3 Technologies supply the military with everything from air traffic control systems to space hardware. The Dow is up 287 on Friday. The Nasdaq added 167 and the S&P gained 38. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Jenny Cosola.
It's 8:04 in Chicago. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Don't miss Freedom Summit 2018 on Saturday, October 27th. Presented by Geiger Wealth Management, Chicago's retirement planning experts. This year featuring headline speakers, former Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark and James O'Keefe from Project Veritas. Also appearing, AM 560's Mike Gallagher, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh. Get your tickets today at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Automated Systems Incorporated and by healthinsurancementors.com.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Do you believe Springfield works for us? Sean Thompson from Elmwood Park doesn't.
Nobody represents me, and nobody represents you. They represent themselves.
And Susan Michaud from Wheaton's home values are suffering for it.
Our property values are going down because our taxes keep going up.
Your property taxes go up, your home value goes down. The government takes your home. Rich, poor, Republican, Democrat, we're all the same when it comes to property taxes. Gino Fioravanti of River Forest is leaving Illinois because of high taxes.
We're not going to be living in Illinois anymore, and it's due to the property taxes.
Sean Thompson blames both sides.
It's bipartisan failure.
You either force politicians who oppose property tax caps out of office, or they force you out of Illinois. A group of independent property tax reform candidates are running to save your home and our state now. Go to SaveYourHomeNow.org to take up their fight just as they have taken up yours. You stay. The politicians go, because they're the ones who suck. SaveYourHomeNow.org.
Liberty Principles paid for this ad and is solely responsible for its content, not authorized by any candidate or candidate committee.
To experience relief from muscle cramps in your legs and feet, use TheraWorks Relief. This non-greasy foam is proven to relieve muscle cramps fast and reduce muscle soreness. TheraWorks Relief can also prevent muscle cramps before they start, so you can get a full night's sleep without having to worry about muscle cramps. TheraWorks Relief only takes minutes to apply, absorbs quickly, and it works. TheraWorks Relief is a life-changing product, and you don't even need a prescription. Get TheraWorks Relief today in the pain relief aisle at Walmart, CVS, Rite Aid, and Walgreens pharmacies, or TheraWorksRelief.com.
The leaves are falling. While shopping for a new rake, you check your ADT security camera from your phone and see some kids with toilet paper and eggs approaching your property. Then you see what they see, your ADT sign and outdoor camera, and scurry away. Scarecrow Service, brought to you by ADT, designing and installing a smart home just for you, backed by best-in-class 24/7 protection. Learn more at ADT.com. ADT, real protection. License information available at ADT.com.
8:07 and a check of your morning roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Kennedy inbound delays start at Central. It is an hour and 13 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 58 minutes from Montrose. 52 in the Express. Outbound 51 minutes to the airport. Edens is fine inbound, but outbound now heavy. 37 minutes Montrose to Lake Cook. Eisenhower, an hour and 10 minutes, 390 to downtown. 54 minutes, Manheim, outbound 55 minutes, 390. Stevenson, just a mess. Harlem to Kedzie with an outbound crash there. It's an hour and 21 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound an hour and 5 minutes. Jan from the Rhine to Kedzie. 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 34 minutes, I-80 to Merge, Bishop Ford, 24. Southbound 53, the construction delays from Palatine Road to Higgins. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Windy today with wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour. Clouds will give way to some sun. We'll have a high of 48. Then it will be a clear and cold night tonight with areas of frost. A low tonight 33, partly sunny tomorrow, high 55. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
37 at O'Hare. Next news at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Alpha Wealth Group, bringing the trilogy of estate, tax, and investment planning together. Visit alphawealthgroup.com for a free report.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan. Amy is back tomorrow with us. Potpourri here. Dude wins a women's cycling championship in California. Congratulations to that guy. And just kind of sort of sign of the time stuff. Pocahontas, Sacagawea, your pick. Senator Elizabeth Warren, prospective 2020 Democrat presidential candidate, did take that ancestry test that President Trump challenged her to take. And she's been cleared that she's Native American. Not exactly. The great majority of Warren's identifiable ancestry is European, says this consultant, Ancestry 23, blah, blah, blah. But she did she does have a Native American ancestor between 6 and 10 generations ago, with the report estimating 8 generations ago. So that's what qualifies her to be part of the Native American caucus on the faculty at Harvard. 8 generations, 10 generations ago, like 150, 175 years. Okay. And, I mean, that speaks for itself, res ipsa loquitur. And so does this. Ariana Grande not going to marry Pete Davidson. I misidentified him as John Davidson because I always get the guy who hosted Hollywood Squares and this nondescript anonymous cast member of SNL that was dating Ariana Grande, engaged to Ariana Grande. Confused. The wedding is off. Shocker. SNL, speaking of which, did a little spoof on the Kanye, Jim Brown, Trump confab last week. This was, of course, Alec Baldwin is Trump, and you know what it's going to be, that Trump's a racist, and that's funny.
Kanye, I want to thank you for giving me a pair of your sneakers. They're perfect for me because they're white, they're wide, and they're never going to be worth as much as you say they are.
Yeah.
First, let me begin with the idea that time is a myth of infinite amounts of universe, and I'm a prisoner in a different dimension. Have I lost anyone so far? Okay, so I'm gonna talk about trap doors. Like the 13th Amendment is a trap door. And if you're installing a floor, okay, AKA the Constitution, why would you build a trap door when you could end up with the Unabomber?
Oh, this guy might be cuckoo. I mean, I've been in the room with Dennis Rodman and Kim Jong-un, and they made a lot more sense than him.
And their take on Kanye's take on Chicago violence.
And then if you hit that Chicago, some people call it Chirac, but the murder rate is going down 20% every year. And pretty soon it's going to be a negative murder rate. We're going to be digging bodies out of the ground.
Oh, this guy can talk. He doesn't stop. He doesn't listen to anyone but himself. Who does he remind me of?
Zing. Yeah, he's a black me, right? We got it. Here's the thing, though. I watched that and I chuckled at the zero negative murder rate comment. But wait a second. Kanye West has serious mental health problems, and somebody needs to be looking out for Kanye West, not exploiting him, not elevating him, not putting him on this stage. That was the takeaway from all of the deep thinkers at CNN over the weekend. They were aghast by the show that was put on. I mean, no other than the learned Don Lemon.
What I saw was a minstrel show today. Him in front of all of these white people, mostly white people, embarrassing himself and embarrassing Americans, but mostly African Americans, because every one of them is sitting either at home or with their phones watching this, cringing. I couldn't even watch it. I had to turn the television off because it was so hard to watch. Him sitting there being used by the President of the United States. The President of the United States exploiting him, and I don't mean this in a disparaging way, exploiting someone who needs help, who needs to back away from the cameras, who needs to get off stage, who needs to deal with his issues. And if anyone around him cares about him, the family that he mentioned today, or whomever, his managers, maybe some other people who are in the music business who know him, they need to grab him and snatch him up and get Kanye together, because Kanye needs help. Kanye's mother is rolling over in her grave.
What about his new mom, Bruce Jenner? Here's the question, though. If this is exploitive, what Trump did, then how could these compassionate souls that anchor these shows on CNN, how could they countenance what Saturday Night Live did? Making fun of the mentally ill is not that exploitive? Did Trump exploit Kanye West by having him come to the Oval Office and pontificate before the assembled media? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Don Lemon started it after also the unbelievable characterization, especially considering the source of Kanye West being a Negro who doesn't read. Wow. Herschel Walker, the football great, Hall of Famer, Georgia Bulldog, suggested that the comments by Lemon and the giggling along with his panelists after those comments, he asked why those individuals are on the air. It's a great question. But he's not allowed to make it. He's not allowed to offer that question because, as Chris Cuomo, another one of the luminaries at CNN, explained to us, celebrities shouldn't be placed on platforms to espouse political or policy views because they're just singers or actors or athletes.
How is it okay to put Kanye on display like this? He's no elected or appointed or recognized leader of any community on this planet. Is he popular? Yes, for his music, not his politics.
Who's, what recognized leader, elected official is Jesse Jackson? He's got some nonprofit. Who anointed Jesse Jackson, for example, the spokesperson for the black families in this country for the past 30 years? What's he been elected to? Is he popular because of his politics? Maybe in some very narrow circles. It's fascinating. Chris Cuomo now wringing his hands over the fact that a celebrity, somebody who's a household name because of their work in entertainment or athletics, would dare to opine on policy and politics? He's apparently never heard of the Hollywood left. He's not familiar with Saturday Night Live. You know, that's political satire. That's commentary of a different sort. All of the headliners to all of the Dem fundraisers, the signatories on all of the fundraising letters, Alyssa Milano sitting behind Brett Kavanaugh as Di-Fi's guest at the confirmation hearing. But no. Kanye West is not to be elevated because he hasn't been elected to anything and he's not popular because of his political views. But admittedly, he's influential. Remarkable, isn't it? I mean, the navel-gazing is really something to behold. And Cuomo continued with his moral indignation directed Trump's way.
My wonder went to what was going on in Trump's head. Let's take a look at him. Here's my educated guess, okay? Other than a warm serotonin flush of happy hormone, imaginary headlines, blacks love Trump. He's blacker than Obama. Then came this.
It was something about when I put this hat on, it made me feel like Superman. You made a Superman. That's my favorite superhero. And you made a Superman cape for me.
I certainly agree. This is a cartoonish situation. But look at Trump here yet again. Yeah, Superman, sure I am. I can do anything. I can save people. I wonder if images of Hurricane Michael came into his head then. The people that do need saving. And here he is, doing this.
Yeah. Making time for celebrities. Yeah. That's real novel, isn't it? We don't see politicians do that. Certainly President Obama never did. What exactly is he supposed to do? If he's doing a photo op down where Hurricane Michael touched on, if he's on Mexico Beach doing a photo op, then he's criticized for what? Exploiting that tragedy for personal gain, doing a photo op amidst all of the tragedy. How much was he criticized when he visited one of the supply facilities in San Juan and he threw like a roll of paper towels like a football? Oh, my God. Oh, how insensitive. This isn't fun and games. It's just remarkable to listen to this. And again, it's also from ostensibly the center right, S.E. Cupp. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, there's no reason you should pay attention to her. She's cause celeb. She's like one of those Republicans that these cable news networks love to have because she's normally like she's like a soft Republican, normally apologizing for the Republican Party or starting from the premises of the left. As I've said, she's like the Ashley Banfield of conservatives. She's mainly known for her stylish glasses. It isn't for her insightful commentary, to wit.
All jokes aside, I thought that was really sad. I think you had there a man who's clearly not okay and a president who's willing to exploit that. And worse, to exploit that under the auspices of race relations and black communities, joblessness, mental health, all the things that ended up in this bucket of issues that were sort of addressed in this free-for-all. I don't know that any of them were very well served by this circus.
Yeah, maybe not. But exploitive. It's just so overwrought, isn't it? I'm sorry. Did Jim Brown exploit Kanye? He attended the lunch with Kanye. Did he exploit him? Did Jim Brown know any more or less than President Trump about Kanye's state of mind? I mean, we all saw the events of Saturday Night Live when Kanye was there, the criticism he received, some of the rambling stream of consciousness that he offered. Does that make him, not well in a clinical sense? Maybe, I don't know. But what about Jim Brown? Should he get criticized for exploiting Kanye West by attending this lunch with him, rather than restraining him? No, Kanye, you can't do this. You need to seek attention. So ridiculous, honestly. I thought the Kanye thing was weird, but, I certainly wouldn't lean on him for a lot of policy advice, but it doesn't mean that everything he said was off the mark, for example.
And that's a move. One of the moves that I love that liberals tried to do. The liberal would try to control a black person through the concept of racism because they know that we are very proud, emotional people. So when I said I like Trump to like someone that's liberal, they'll say, oh, but he's racist. You think racism can control me? Oh, that don't stop me. That's an invisible wall.
Nothing crazy about that. How about Kanye and stop and frisk? He's opposed to stop and frisk. Wants to talk to the president about stop and frisk. The president's proposed that. It's a good idea for police forces like Chicago. It's a debate. Kanye's opposed to it. The president isn't.
That the head of the police and Mike Sachs met with me last night at the Soho House about was we feel that stop and frisk does not help the relationships in the city.
You can agree or disagree, not crazy. By the way, Michael Sachs, Rahm Emanuel's financier, police officials who met with Kanye at Soho House, were they exploiting him? Is that a minstrel show, to borrow a Don Lemonism? Or is it just a guy with an opinion who has influence? And you'll hear him out, and you may think he has a point, you may think he doesn't, you may think he's a little off-center, you may think he isn't. Whatever. Mark on the South Side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. You know what? If you remember, Dan, they did the same thing to Dave Chappelle about 10, 12 years ago when Dave Chappelle was, starting to get on top of his game and become very popular. He started exposing what he didn't like in Hollywood, the cross-dressing, a lot of stuff that he didn't agree with morally. What did they do? Said he's mentally ill and put him away. And in fact, Dave Chappelle just came out not too long ago and said he supports Kanye. But that's the Hollywood machine. Your listeners already know that. If you go against the message, you're mentally ill, you're mentally deranged, you need to be reprogrammed, you're in rehab, which they quietly put you in. Hell, our own Mayor Daley, for 20 years, they laughed at all his craziness. I mean, Mayor Daley, you could probably argue, had some issues. The crazy things he used to do and say, and they used to laugh about it because he's a Democrat. If he was a Republican, they would have said he's mentally ill. I'll listen to your response, Dan.
Thanks for the call, Mark, and thanks for queuing that up. Dave Chappelle, Saturday night. Van Jones apparently has a show on CNN, too. Who doesn't? Here's what Chappelle said.
First of all, Kanye is an artist, man.
Yes.
And he's a genius.
Absolutely.
Whatever he's saying right now, I think that the angle he's seeing things from is about the division that he sees. And he's not inconsistent with what he's saying. For instance, a decade ago, I read a quote where he said he wanted to take the Confederate flag and reappropriate it some other different kind of way. And there's a MAGA hat, whatever, man. The thing that's scary about this presidency is after it. I don't know if you've been married before or had a girlfriend and said something in a fight that was so wrong, and then after that, we still family, we still around each other, but man, I sure did say all that, didn't I? And I'm not mad at Kanye. That's my brother.
Yeah, I mean, and so he disagrees. Chappelle's not a Trump fan, although he did say, I could see myself voting for a Republican if I liked a particular candidate. He doesn't like Trump, fine. Maybe Kanye will turn to regret what he said and how he acted in the Oval Office, the same way he expressed in the Oval Office how he regretted saying George W. Bush doesn't like black people. The same way he expressed regret at how he behaved to Taylor Swift at some awards ceremony nobody cares about. Maybe. Yeah. I mean, he's, when you're that wealthy, I guess eccentric is the word. Erratic. Fine. All the hand-wringing, the president's exploitive. Kanye West doesn't have his own moral agency. That's what they're saying. Who's doing the minstrel show? Will and Skokie are on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan. One thing that's very interesting I found is that people are using Saturday Night Live as an expression of reality. Remember when Tina Fey got on there and played Palin and said, "I can see Alaska from my house"? That's not what Sarah Palin said. But yet you talk to people and they think that Sarah Palin actually said that.
Could see
the
Russia
same thing
from my
here.
house.
How many people? She said, "How can I can see Russia from her house,
right.
from the coastline?" And how many people actually saw the Kanye West thing? No, hardly anybody. But yet they saw the Saturday Night Live thing, and they think that that's reality, and they take that away. This is getting dangerous, and I think it's very interesting now that, we got to remember that years ago there was a black man on the south side of Chicago who ran against Bobby Rush. John Cass brought this out over the weekend, and he was determined to be not black enough because he was well-spoken.
Yeah,
that
right.
man was, and his card was taken away, but that man was Barack Obama.
Yeah, thanks
So,
thanks for the call, Will. Appreciate it. And the other thing that's dangerous is not being able to distinguish in terms of level of seriousness, quote-unquote, news talk shows on CNN, for example, with Saturday Night Live. Lewis in Dayton, Texas.
Good morning, Dan. How you doing? I find it that Kanye, I respect him because he's willing to say what he feels and get his message across. But it seems like anytime you go against the Democratic Party, they turn that around. You look at Lemon, they talk bad about him, but yet, if you look at them and what they're doing, they're conforming to whatever their network tells them to do. A person like Kanye is speaking what he feels. Again, we may not all agree with it. We may all think it's different, but at least he's saying what he feels, not what somebody
exactly
in the network or what
exactly.
the Democratic Party's telling them. Real quick, the only thing I wanted to say was you played a clip about it was about who is Kanye? He's a musician, known for his music to shut up pretty
Chris
much
Cuomo, right.
and play his music. you know what? But who are these NFL players? They're not political.
Right.
So why are we forced to listen to their points? Why are we forced to watch them kneeling and hear them across? If you're telling Kanye to shut up because he's a musician, well, you know what? The NFL players should shut up because they're players. They're not politicians. They should have no right if Kanye should have no right.
Yeah, thanks for the call. That's right. I mean, that's the rank hypocrisy of Chris Cuomo. I mean, you know, the same people who attack Laura Ingraham for saying just shut up and dribble to LeBron and Kevin Durant. Yeah, she was wrong. They're allowed to weigh in. I mean, she's not preventing them from weighing in. She's not wrong in that sense. But, yeah, I mean, celebrities have platforms that we don't have, and so they can, you know, enter the political arena at their own risk, just like Kanye did. And you can take a lot of what he had to say. I mean, releasing Larry Hoover, no, I don't think so. And some of the other, you know, rambling ideas and thoughts that he had. And then there's some kernels of truth there. And so what's the big deal? I mean, Kanye West certainly doesn't need Don Lemon or Chris Cuomo to protect him from himself.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
One of the biggest fears for retirees and soon-to-be retirees, do I have enough? Do I have enough money to last for the rest of my life? I hear it every day when I meet with individuals, and it's for good reason. Check this statistic out. If you were born in 1800, you could expect to live until you were 39 years old. In 1900, 49. That number jumped to 68 in 1950, and today it's 79. How many people do you know that are in their 80s, in their 90s? Hi, this is Tom Fortino, host of the Alpha Wealth Hour, heard every Saturday at 9 a.m. here on AM 560. So how do you help ensure you never run out of money in retirement? The answers are in our special report, Maximizing Income in Retirement. In this powerful report, you'll discover successful tools and strategies on how to help turbocharge your income in retirement and how to position and protect your money regardless of what happens in the stock market. Call now to receive this report, Maximizing Income in Retirement, and will include 6 strategies to tax-free income. Call the Alpha Wealth Group, 630-519-4742 right now to receive your free report. That's 630-519-4742.
Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I'm definitely feeling better because now that I'm feeling better, I have more energy to be able to do more things. Before I couldn't, I was in severe pain with my back and I couldn't I really couldn't function without taking an ibuprofen. And I haven't had to do that.
The first day energy level was up by about 30%. Stamina was probably up 40%. Alertness was probably 20-25%. Afternoons, I'd get groggy, doggy. Just in 2 days, that is gone.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
Am I on? Stay tuned. There it is. Okay. Stay tuned. We've got our own Weird Al Yankovic. He's Strange Tim O'Connell, and he's in studio with a live performance of an Illinois-inspired parody of Movin' Out. That's at 8:38. Now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
Skies are gray, 37 degrees. President Trump says he spoke to the King of Saudi Arabia this morning, who denies any knowledge of what is happening to missing journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Trump tweeting this morning that King Salman said his country is working closely with Turkey to find answers. Khashoggi, a Saudi citizen, frequent critic of Riyadh, was last seen October 2nd walking into the Saudi consulate in Istanbul. Meantime, the U.S. should not act as if business is usual with Saudi Arabia. That according to Senator Marco Rubio of Florida on CNN's State of the Union.
There needs to be a strong response if, in fact, this proves to be true. If they lured this man into that consulate, they went medieval on him, and he was killed, and he was chopped up, and they sent a death crew down there to kill him and do all this, that'd be an outrage.
The Florida Republican says he believes the U.S. should hold off on all meetings with Saudi officials and trips to the kingdom until the truth comes out. Oil prices are up amid the U.S. threats to punish Saudi Arabia over the disappearance of the columnist. Brent crude is up 70 cents a barrel. President Trump is headed to Florida today to see devastation caused by Hurricane Michael in the Panhandle. Sears has filed for bankruptcy. The Hoffman Estates-based company filed for Chapter 11 protection early this morning. SWAT team is on the scene of a standoff following what appears to be a domestic-related shooting on Chicago's South Side near 70th and Prairie. Chicago sports, Jason Sanders boots a 47-yard field goal as time expires. In OT, Dolphins rally to beat the Bears 31-28 in Miami. The news, a service of Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org. 8:34, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Picture your son after his first year of college. What kind of man do you hope to see? A man fully alive? He commits to do the right thing because it's the right thing, because he's strong enough to do it? It's Dan Proft, and I know Northridge Prep in Niles builds that kind of man. At the open house this Sunday, October 21st, see for yourself what makes Northridge Prep the #1 all-boys school 3 years running and the 4th best Catholic school in Illinois. Their academically rigorous curriculum celebrates the adventure of boyhood. Hall Fest, the Superfans, jousting tournaments, and more make Northridge Prep a good place to be a boy. Northridge Prep is an independent Catholic school for boys grades 6 through 12. Their rigorous curriculum produces men with the ability to think for themselves. Grads go on to the best universities, including the Ivy League. Every teacher is a role model, and 50% of the faculty attended a top 20 university. I strongly encourage you to attend Northridge Prep's open house on Sunday, October 21st. To learn more and register online, visit northridgeprep.org. That's northridgeprep.org.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Radical protests storm Washington. Far left extremists demanding their way or the highway.
And you don't give power to an angry left-wing mob.
Standing with them, Senator Joe Donnelly. Donnelly says he's one of us, yet time after time he stands with them. Voting against Brett Kavanaugh to be on the Supreme Court. Voting against President Trump's historic tax cuts. And Donnelly claims to be full of common sense. But he voted for the reckless nuclear deal with Iran that makes us less safe. Senator Donnelly, he just isn't who he says he is. Mike Braun is a political outsider, job creator, and doer. Mike Braun's one of us. He'll help President Trump make the tax cuts permanent, and he'll vote to confirm conservative judges like Brett Kavanaugh. On Election Day, stand with Mike Braun for Senate.
I'm Mike Braun, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Larry Nora, founder and CEO of You Store It, a network of award-winning self-storage facilities in the Chicago area, and a customer of Signature Bank. We've developed over 70 storage centers throughout the city and suburbs, and our business continues to grow. We need a bank who understands the neighborhoods and communities where we are making investments. We found that in Signature Bank. They know this city and its neighborhoods because they are based right here in Chicago. Finding a local banking institution like Signature Bank has been critical to the success of You Store It, and we look forward to a long-term relationship.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Check out the newest podcast from the Associated Press, Ground Game, hosted by AP's Meghan Crane. A weekly conversation about top political issues ahead of the upcoming midterm elections. Available on Apple Podcasts.
8:37, and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Southbound Tri-State traffic is heavy from Dempster to Irving Park. Northbound from the Stevenson to 31st and Roosevelt to Lawrence. On Reagan Tollway, it's sluggish. Winfield to Yackley. Veterans Memorial delays are northbound 63rd to the Reagan Tollway. The Army Trail toll to 290. Southbound 53 is gummed up. Palatine to Higgins. Hayden's 19 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound 37. At Kennedy, delays start at Central. It is an hour and 13 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 51 minutes. Eisenhower, an hour and 10 minutes, 390 to downtown. 54 minutes from Manheim, outbound 55 to 390. Stevenson, an hour and 24 minutes, 355 to the drive. Outbound an hour with a crash at Kedzie in the right lane. Ryan, 32 minutes, 95 to downtown. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, windy, cooler, clouds give way to some sun, and a high of 48, 37 right now. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Lou Bridges Show, a show about the greatest financial crime in history. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
If that's moving up, then I'm moving up.
That's the old version. That's no good. We've got a new version coming up. This is our inaugural edition of AM 560 Unplugged, Chicago Morning Answer Jam Sessions, and we're pleased to have in studio Tim O'Donnell, all the way from unincorporated West Chicago. Tim, thanks so much for being with us. Appreciate it.
Great. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. That is a smattering of applause from our in studio audience. You're a project manager for a construction firm by trade.
Yes.
But in your spare time, you pen songs.
I do.
Now, are they all parody songs like we're about to hear?
No, actually, I've written many of myself. This is actually the first real parody I've done. I've always messed around with stuff.
Do you do like power ballads?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right. Maybe after this, maybe you'll sing me a power ballad.
Well, you always bring up Tiny Dancer, so I'm thinking about doing one for you.
Well, that'd be fantastic. All right, so this is, as our friend Justin just telegraphed, this is Moving Out. Billy Joel's Moving Out.
Mm-hmm.
But it's got a bit of an Illinois flavor to it.
Yes.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
All right. Mike Mannequin runs the Democratic House floor for 30 plus years running. He's promising this and he's stealing that. Where can you get that kind of money? He's using your house like his own piggy bank. You ought to know by now. You can pay off your house here in Illinois, but you can never keep up with the taxes. Oh, how it's always been the plan to have a taxpayer pay, no doubt. Not a matter of if anymore, but when you're moving out. I said, when you're moving out. Ponzi, Oski. Now Sergeant O'Leary, he's a walking the beach. He's catching pigs in at age 50. With 3% COLA raises year after year. And his side job, he's got double dipping. While the working stiff are dying, having heart attack, trying to save their home. I never seen a tax that the teachers won't back to keep all the pension checks coming. See, it's always been the grand design. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Never seen from the top now. We gotta do it from the top.
Now it's always been the grand design. To have a tax, always been the grand design. To have a taxpayer-funded bailout, it's not a matter of if anymore, but when you're moving out. I said, when you're moving out. Ponzi, ski. Now never argue money with a union, my. They think you can't stop them now. Read Article 13, Section number 5, to see how they're stolen your money. So are you part of the grand design? Oh, 'cause that's what it's all about. And I know I good luck moving up, 'cause I'm moving out. I said I'm moving out. Ponzi, Oski. I'm moving out. I'm moving out.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Very good.
Nervous.
Very good. That was great. I'll tell you. All right. I'm going to play Simon Cowell and Randy Jackson and Paul Abdul. You know, you had that little hiccup there, and that's okay. I'll tell you. If you can work 3% cola raises into a Billy Joel song, then I'm going to go ahead and say you're going to the next round. So that was awesome. And so did these lyrics inspired obviously by our show here, but are you actually moving out? Are you one of the Illinoisans who's going to leave?
I'm actually thinking about it.
Are you really?
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about it. Yeah, because on the YouTube, what I did on YouTube, where I didn't screw up, I started it with Georgia on my mind, a little start of it. And that's what I was thinking about going to because, I mean, the tax is just killing everybody here. And you're right. This started a little hashtag move out thing, and all of a sudden I find myself here. But I got a lot of this stuff. A lot of these talking points were from you. In fact, I put the Article 13, Section 5 in there just for you.
Yeah, it's true. I'll tell you again, very difficult to work a clause of the Illinois Constitution into a Billy Joel song. That's you got to have some talent to do that. And I'm glad that I'm a lyricist and I don't even know it. It takes two to make a room go. Okay. He is Tim O'Donnell. He is he is our strange Tim O'Donnell. We're gonna ask for more parody songs from you, particularly if you can continue to come up with lyrics that are this good to comment on Illinois and federal politics. That was great.
Our 4-foot mayor is next.
I love it. I can't wait for the Tiny Dancer parody. That's going to be good. Tim O'Donnell, straight out of unincorporated West Chicago, our first Chicago Morning Answer Jam session. Tim, thanks so much. Great.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Dan.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
On AM 560, The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Looking to secure financing on a new home? Then you need to call Team Hochberg. Stephanie, account manager, contacted her credit union to get pre-qualified for a mortgage. Bad move. The credit union's alleged mortgage expert informed Stephanie she couldn't purchase a home without a cosigner. Wrong. Stephanie's grandfather would cosign, but she wanted to do it herself. After hearing hundreds of our ads, Stephanie called for a free consultation. An experienced Team Hochberg mortgage professional answered Stephanie's questions and helped her secure a mortgage without a cosigner. Let's review. The inexperienced mortgage professional at Stephanie's credit union stated she needed a cosigner to purchase a home, and Team Hochberg secured her a mortgage without a cosigner. When securing a mortgage, you could either get terrible advice at your credit union, or you could call Team Hochberg at 312-751-1333. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage and Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee 4358 and MLS 19186.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Old Joe Donnelly keeps talking big on outsourcing. Here's Joe.
They want to pay $3 an hour in Mexico and then ship those products back to America to people who are making decent wages.
But Donnelly's own family business got caught outsourcing jobs to Mexico. And get this, according to job postings, workers at the Donnelly's Mexican factory got paid, you guessed it, $3 an hour. $3 an hour. Donnelly made up to $80,000 from his family business, lining his pockets while American jobs were outsourced to Mexico. So when Donnelly says this about outsourcing,
it's unpatriotic, it's shameful, and it's un-American.
remember, he's talking about himself. Just say no to Mexico Joe Donnelly. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Message and data rates may apply.
Looking to spruce up your home with fashionable new window blinds, shades, and draperies? Look no further than Chicago's own Eddie Z's, the window treatment experts that come to you. Eddie Z's is offering radio listeners an amazing offer. Buy one window treatment and get the second at 50% off. To schedule a free shop-at-home appointment with one of our friendly and professional design consultants, simply text WINDOW to 642-642 or go to eddiez's.com. By providing an amazing selection of today's top brand names and styles and advice from experts who come to you, Eddie Z's has earned an A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau. Save big with our buy one and get 50% off on the second treatment of select blinds, shades, or drapery. Nobody does blinds and drapery better than Eddie Z's. Nobody. Take the first step into transforming your home with beautiful window treatments by scheduling your free at-home consultation. Simply text WINDOW to 642-642 or go to eddiez's.com. Text WINDOW to 642-642.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I had cancer. I have fibromyalgia. I have nerve damage and fatigue. I have thalassemia. I'm hypoglycemic. So my life since cancer, I've had to learn how to live with it. But starting Balance of Nature, I felt it the first month. I felt different. It made such a difference that now I wake up, my head feels clearer, I have more energy. Very rarely does my body cramp up anymore. It's the best thing. It's just amazing. I don't know what to say. I just would not be what I am today if I didn't start Balance of Nature.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Success happens with an affordable full-time IT staff from Turnkey IT. Listen to another happy customer.
We're a doctor's office with a team of 2 doctors and 12 support staff in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, and we're one of the original all-in contracts with Turnkey IT. It's nice to never have to worry about our computer systems and concentrate on the practice. Turnkey started with replacing every piece of equipment, including all servers and PCs. Everything is warranted, and we don't even have to think about replacing hardware for the next 4 years. All this for one monthly payment that includes unlimited support, 24/7 monitoring, cloud backup, antivirus, and anti-ransomware. A truly turnkey support program. And it's all HIPAA compliant. Thanks for the peace of mind, Turnkey IT.
Your business can have great success too, with a full-time IT staff starting at $7.95 a month from Turnkey IT.
Leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on the important things. Visit turnkey.pro today. Turnkey.pro.
Did you know that your sump pump is the heart of your basement waterproofing system? Hi, I'm Roy Spencer, president of Permaseal. You know how many sump pumps fail? That's right, all of them. It isn't a matter of if, but rather when your pump will fail. Unfortunately, you may not realize there's a problem until your basement is flooded and you've incurred thousands of dollars in damages. At Permaseal, we make it easy to have your sump system evaluated and a reliable pump and battery backup system installed. Call Permaseal today at 800-421-SEAL to schedule your free inspection. We've received many calls from happy customers whose basement and belongings were protected during this past rainy season. But don't take our word for it. Check out our reviews with the Better Business Bureau. You'll see that many of your friends and neighbors are part of the Permaseal family. Get the peace of mind that comes with a dry basement and a healthy home. You know who to call. Permaseal. 800-421-SEAL or visit permaseal.net.
Known best for being better, Permaseal.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Strange Tim O'Donnell in studio, and the reviews are coming in, Tim. They somewhat liked your song. They really liked my harmonizing. No, actually, Karen tweeting, my lighter's held high. Encore That was awesome. Great job, Tim. Patrick Cotter, that was fantastic. Whenever I thought your show couldn't get any more entertaining, you do this. Well, it's not really me. So cool. Can't wait for the Tiny Dancer song, Patio. Marizi loved it, minus the part where I tried to be a backup singer. All good stuff. Tim in Rockford, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Dan, I just wanted to say you're hitting on all the cylinders on your show. This young man, I couldn't have enjoyed more his rendition there. It was Billy Joel, isn't that the original guy?
Yeah, Billy Joel, Moving Out. That's right. Yeah.
Well, you tell this young man he's really hitting the sweet spot. I really enjoyed it. Thanks a lot.
All right, thanks for the call, Tim. This young man, Tim O'Donnell, is still right here, Tim. So you got to appreciate that feedback.
I do. I appreciate it, even with the minor mistake there.
Well, yeah, it's not. I mean, do you think that what we have here in studio today may be a real live version of A Star Is Born? I mean, forget Bradley Cooper and Gaga. Forget James Mason and Judy Garland. How about Dan and Tim O'Donnell?
Yep.
We'll run away. We'll get married. I'll have to deal with my addiction problems. But you'll miss me, but then you'll go on to fame and fortune. You'll get over it. And Sam Elliott will watch over you, something like that. Wouldn't that be nice?
As long as it's not in Illinois.
Exactly.
Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer. Don't miss Freedom Summit 2018 on Saturday, October 27th. Presented by Geiger Wealth Management, Chicago's retirement planning experts. This year, featuring headline speakers, former Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark and James O'Keefe from Project Veritas. Also appearing, AM 560's Mike Gallagher, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh. Get your tickets today at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Precision Payroll of America and by Joe Cotton Ford in Carroll Stream.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Radical protests storm Washington. Far left extremists demanding their way or the highway.
And you don't give power to an angry left-wing mob.
Standing with them, Senator Joe Donnelly. Donnelly says he's one of us, yet time after time he stands with them. Voting against Brett Kavanaugh to be on the Supreme Court. Voting against President Trump's historic tax cuts. And Donnelly claims to be full of common sense. But he voted for the reckless nuclear deal with Iran that makes us less safe. Senator Donnelly, he just isn't who he says he is. Mike Braun is a political outsider, job creator, and doer. Mike Braun's one of us. He'll help President Trump make the tax cuts permanent, and he'll vote to confirm conservative judges like Brett Kavanaugh. On Election Day, stand with Mike Braun for Senate.
I'm Mike Braun, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
When is the best time to talk to your family about staying in touch during a disaster? When floodwaters reach your door? When wildfires are engulfing the edge of your neighborhood? Or an earthquake is destroying buildings? When a tornado is tearing through town? Or a hurricane strikes? Or is the best time perhaps today? During a disaster, you may not be able to stay